A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
We haven't got time for this, Emily. We haven't done an episode in ages.
What?
There's not even a crawl for this one, so I'll just get
Uh,
straight in there. You know what I mean?
no, wait. I had. Wait.
Hi, I'm Sam. Welcome to Crashing the
Oh no!
Starfighter, the Star Wars podcast that is really excited about Olivia Rodrigo's new album. I'm Sam, and I've been listening to Guts by Olivia Rodrigo.
I'm Emily, and I've just been jump scared.
Yeah, so the thing I really like about Olivia Rodrigo's new album Guts, which is her second album after Sour, is it has some really good music videos. Like, for music videos for Bad Idea Right and Vampire go really hard and they have really good horror direction. I looked up the director, I can't remember her name, but I looked her up, and she'd done a few other music videos for Olivia Rodrigo, so I looked at them all, and I was like, wow, these have a really strong sense of horror filmmaking. And sure enough, the director is now doing a psychological thriller starring Selena Gomez. So, yay horror filmmaking, but also it means that Olivia Rodrigo's most recent music video is nowhere near as good because it's a trash director and I didn't like it. What are your thoughts on Olivia Rodrigo as a modern poet?
I'm not sure if I have any thoughts on Olivia Rodrigo as a creative. I don't really listen to her. I'm so sorry. I'm like sometimes I feel the generational gap between me and you. There's not too many years in between us, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, you like these like newfangled young pop stars, and I'm just like, I don't know, I don't know much about them.
This is how I feel when I go out with my friends and they just like have like, oh my gosh, have you seen this TikTok? No, I'm nearing 26. I have not seen this
No, I
TikTok.
haven't.
Oh yeah, we haven't got time. So
Oh
today we're,
goodness.
we're, we're talking about Thrawn Alliances, which is the second book in the first canon Thrawn trilogy. I have read the book Thrawn Alliances multiple times. Have you ever read the book Thrawn Alliances, Emily?
No, that's the premise of the podcast, Sam.
We just have to let the listeners know.
Okay. I have not read the book Thrawn Alliance, the second book.
This novel was released on the 24th of July 2018, and it's written by the daddy to the Blue Daddy, Timothy Zahn.
Ah, the Blue Daddy's daddy. The man that we all stan.
Before we start, Emily, last episode,
Oh, I forgot about this.
last episode, I
Oh,
asked you a question,
you
and
did ask me a question.
and the question was, what planet is Galaxy's Edge set on?
It's Batu.
And yep, you got it in one.
I'm sorry, I preempted you a little bit there.
Batu. How do you know this, Emily?
How do I know this? I've been to, no, I haven't. I've literally just been bombarded by the marketing. Basically, it's been drummed into me. The marketing team did a good job.
So you know the planet, but do you know the settlement's name?
Black Spire Outpost? Is
Yep,
that what it's
two for
called?
two.
No, yeah, I know things. Oh, I'm chuffed. I'm actually real chuffed with myself.
If you remember, at the end of the last Thrawn book,
Okay.
ends with Governor Price hiring Thrawn's help to get rid of some rebels who we may or may not
I
know
do
from a
remember
certain
this.
animated show.
Whoa!
We're now a season of the animated show on, and Thrawn has come up to a loss against said rebels. This takes place between seasons 3 and 4 of the show. At the end of season 3, Thrawn thinks he has them all trapped at their base on Athlon. He is, orbital bombarding their shields,
Mm,
but then he
classic
has his
horror move.
fleet, and one of the other admirals gets greedy. He sees a ship going. He doesn't want it to escape, so he flies up and ends up getting his ship destroyed, allowing Ezra Bridger to get out, get through a blockade, and call for help, which starts leading to the downfall. The other thing that helps is that on the ground, Kanan has made friends with a giant manifestation of the Force voiced by Tom Baker. And
Uh, uh,
and
hang
when
on.
Thrawn goes
We've
to
never talked about
planets,
this before.
when Thrawn goes to planet with his ground assault, this giant manifestation of the Force literally turns into a thunderstorm and just starts zapping things.
Voiced by Tom Baker.
Voiced by Tom Baker, very obviously over a Skype call.
It's just a tinny audio. You can just hear like somebody talking in the background, like he's at a coffee shop or something.
It really is. 1 second. Let me see if I can get a clip.
Oh my goodness, yeah, I know, I'd love to see it.
Jedi and Sith wield the Ashtar and Bogan, the light and the dark. I'm the one in the middle, the Bendu. What do you call yourself?
I am Kanan Jarrus, Jedi Knight.
So yeah, that's
That's so weird. That's really weird that that's a thing that happened. That's so strange. The thing is like you're just like, oh, he's obviously on the end of a Skype call, but I'm just like, oh, he just fits in so well with the just the general vibe
Mhm.
of Star Wars. I don't know.
Yeah, but they make it work, but like the audio
Yeah, they
quality of his
do.
lines is definitely like a lot worse than everyone else's.
It's a little bit worse.
And it's definitely like they were recording this in America, but Tom Baker didn't want to leave his house in Rye, so just
That's valid. I support that. That's really, really funny to me because I obviously know Freddie Prinze Jr. mostly like voice wise from like Iron Ball, so that just sounded like that sounded like Talk Two and Iron Ball just having a conversation to me.
you see, for me, Freddie Prinze Jr. will always be Fred Jones. So
Fred Jones. Yeah, fair. No,
but
that
yeah,
was a good tangent. I like that. Sorry, I've just derailed your entire thing by being mystified by that.
Thrawn's in the bad books, but see, this book does something weird. This
Ooh.
book is split over 2 different timelines. It cuts back and forth. You see,
Whoa.
what if I told you that before our blue boy was was one of the Emperor's favorites? He was around in the known galaxy during the Clone Wars,
What?
and may have done a mission with certain Jedi we know.
Wait, so this is one of those things where like this happens a lot in like the comics, I find, where they're just like, yeah, we're gonna tell a bit the story and then we're going back to like add some context to the story. That's what we're doing here.
Kind of, but it's more. We'll get into it. So in the
Okay, yeah.
book, it cuts back and forth between the 2 timelines. A chapter of one,
Mm,
then 2 chapters of the other, then a chapter of one, then 3 chapters of the other,
okay.
then 5 chapters of the other, then a chapter of the other. Just like it's weirdly paced. I'm gonna say that. So for
That's
this,
fair.
I've separated it clearly into the 2 timelines, and we're gonna go through the Clone Wars stuff first, and then the
Okay.
Imperial stuff later.
That's interesting. So I'm gonna get the cut of this story that's laid out very much in like the 2 timelines separately rather than all jumbled up together. That's an interesting way
hmm
to read it.
Mainly because a lot of the events happen in parallel, so it'll be similar locations, similar
Okay.
events, uh, and it just gets
Ooh.
confusing, especially with me telling you the story, who's where when. So just thought if we do one and do the other, it will clear out for you.
That's valid. You know what? I trust you. You're the storyteller here. I have
Mm.
to trust you.
And if you go into your pack, which is just your Word
I
document this
will.
time,
Yes.
and then if you look at the Clone Wars cover,
Let's go. Let's have a look at
because this book
this.
had 2 separate covers. It had the official
Ooh.
cover, which is the Imperial one, but then they did a San Diego Comic Con exclusive one, which has the Clone Wars versions of the characters.
It is really weird to see like like pretty realistic rendition of Hayden Christensen next to this dude, right?
Yeah.
That's so strange. I kind of like it though. They've
Also,
kind of made Thrawn look like a bit daddy in this. Not gonna lie.
that's his chiss armor, and you can tell he's not in the Empire because he has a few strands of hair falling over his face.
This would never fly in the Empire. This is like his like rough era. You know, he wasn't like always perfectly with his hair slicked back. There's a
No,
few
no, no.
strands loose. Show.
Let's clarify this. He was always perfect, but
Okay, I'm sorry.
so the story starts 15 BBY, near the end of the Clone Wars. This takes place after Ahsoka's left the Order, but before
Hey,
it all goes to shit.
okay,
You know this? You know this gal called Padme? She's like a big deal.
I'm familiar with her. Yeah, I know her.
So
She seems like a nice girl.
It's like a concept we haven't come across yet, but her handmaidens from The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones continue to be like her special agents throughout Star Wars.
Hmm.
That they can continue doing missions for her.
That's
I haven't
cool.
actually read any of the books with Min yet, but they've recently shown up in the comics that take place between episode 5 and 6. Like,
That's
just
cool. I love a lady spy. You know me.
in Star Wars, Padme's handmaidens are a thing. And this book
Yeah.
starts with Padme getting information from one of her ex-handmaidens, called Duja. And she's decided, my handmaiden knows something. She hasn't said much about what it is, probably because she's worried about comms and being intercepted. But I'm on this planet Batuu if you want to come along. Padme tells Anakin this, and he wants to join, but he's just been called away to do a war. It's like, oh man,
A war.
if Ahsoka was still here in the Order, we could have done both, like, you know, with Padawan and Master. So one of us can do the war and the other one can just skive off. That's what you used to do. But now she's gone. I guess I'm gonna have to do my war. But listen, Padme.
Oh no,
if
there's
anything
no more
goes
free
bad,
labour.
There's no more child soldiers. If anything goes wrong, Padme,
Basically.
you contact me and let me know. So he goes off and does a war, and he comes back. And Padme's not back. And she hasn't
no.
contacted him at all.
Ah.
So he goes to the Jedi Council and he's like, Padme's missing, can I go after her? And they go, Anakin, listen, we would love to deny your request to go after her because it's not your place. But before that, there's another war for you to do. So Anakin goes off and does another war, and he comes back, and Padme's still not back. He's like, oh man, I
Oh
could
my
go
god,
to the Jedi.
2 wars?
But they kind of said that, you know, they were going to deny my request anyway, so I may as well not bother. What if I just go to the government webpage and put in her number plates and see where her car's last been seen?
Is that what he does?
Yeah, basically.
That's legitimately actually what he does.
And sure enough, reports of her Nubian spaceship have come from this planet called Batuu. So he decides to go out and investigate. So Anakin arrives above Batuu, and this is the time when Jedi fighters have hyperspace rings. So he leaves his hyperspace ring in space. It's him and R2 going alone. As they're going down towards the surface, another ship comes towards the hyperspace ring.
Who could it be?
And Anakin's like, this is a bit weird. He goes back, says, get away from my hyperspace ring, dude. That's mine. I need it. The other person speaks in a language that Anakin doesn't recognise. So then he tries one of the local trade languages, Miscalf, and the stranger manages to talk back, and he's like, hi, I like your ring. It's cool tech. I was like, what do you want? He's like, you're on a quest, and I want to help you. You see, I know where that ship you're after landed. And Anakin's like, what?
This isn't suspicious at all.
How do you know I'm after a ship that's landed somewhere? This is a bit weird.
It is.
The stranger goes, like, I saw this ship land. It was obviously like following another ship, and now a third ship comes out of nowhere. You look like your government, but you're on your own, so I don't think you're on a official mission, which means it must be a personal quest. And since I know where the ship you're after landed, if you're after that ship, which I think you are, let me guide you there. In exchange for helping you, though, I want some information about all these wars you're going on, these Clone Wars, because I'm not from here.
I want to know about the Clone Wars,
and I want to know who's who. You know, if I was to pick a side, which side I should pick, that kind of thing.
He wants the lowdown, basically.
The stranger says, you know, the two of us should go down to the surface together, since we're the only ones here. But Anakin scans his ship and finds another life form on board. So hang on a second, just the two of us?
Ooh.
But you have another person on board, and this person's like, oh no, they're my pilots. Like, you didn't mention your droid because they won't be joining us. And Anakin's like, R2 will be joining us. Strange's like, oh, okay.
Excuse me,
Well,
R2 goes through once.
Well, my pilot won't be joining us, so they're not worth mentioning. Anakin's like, okay. And they agree to help each other. And before they head down to the surface, the stranger introduces himself as Mithorn Eurodo.
Whoa!
But tells Anakin
It's that
as he struggles
boy.
for the name, just use his core name, Thrawn.
You can use my cool name.
Core, like, the center.
I thought you said you can use my cool name. It's
You can use my cool
Thrawn.
name, Thrawn.
For you, you can use my cool name.
But yeah, Chiss names come in 3 parts.
Yeah.
So, I know the first part is for family. So, like, Thrawn is Mithrawn Yorodo, because he's from the family myth.
Okay.
I can't remember what the middle bit, which is Raw, and the last bit, which is Yodo, mean, off the top of my head.
But all we really need to know is his cool name, you know?
Yep, so you take the center bit, and you take a couple of letters from one of the other names, and you get your core name.
Ah, that's fun.
And Anakin introduces himself as Anakin Skywalker, and Thrawn goes, Skywalker? Yep, that's my name. What is? Oh, nothing, don't worry about it. So,
God,
Thrawn,
he's so suspicious.
Thrawn sends over the location of Padme's ship, and Anakin flies down, lands. Him and R2 walk to the clearing and see it. There's a group of smugglers trying to get in. Anakin, he wants to start a fight, but R2 has to stay back because recently R2 caught himself shot in battle just because he wanted a better view of what was happening.
No,
So Anakin's
R2,
like,
no.
No, R2, you stay here. He walks into the clearing, starts with his lightsaber,
Oh,
and some shoot, shoot, bang, bang happens. But
shoot,
halfway
shoot,
through the
bang,
shoot, shoot,
bang.
bang, bang, someone yells something in a language Anakin doesn't recognize. At the edge of a clearing, he sees a blue boy in a black uniform. Thrawn gets Anakin stop fighting and start speaking to the smugglers in their language. He's like, they found this ship and they were trying to break down the door to make sure no one was hurt. But I think they're lying because they're smugglers.
No shit.
Anakin just convince him to leave, and he's like, "So, do they know you? Like, how did you get them to stop?" I was like, "Oh, well, I yelled really loud so they looked at me and they saw my uniform." Oh, so they recognized your uniform? I was like, I doubt it, but they recognized it as a military uniform, so they knew I had some authority, whereas you look like a weird soldier guy.
I mean, he's not
On a
wrong.
personal quest.
Anakin does not look. He's on a personal quest. Something about Anakin just looking like he's on a personal quest is very funny to me.
Thrawn also says they've probably heard of a Chiss before in legends. Anakin says, "Yep, it can't help if enemies have low expectations of you going in." Thrawn counters, high expectations, bitch. Like, the Chiss have a rep.
Yeah, we're cool. I told you my cool name.
So Anakin's getting a bit stressed because he can't sense Padme alive, which means she's either dead in there or she's not in there. And desperate to find which, he cuts down the door, goes into her ship, and she's not in there, luckily. But they find that she sent some messages, encrypted so Anakin can't read them, but she was definitely trying to contact him. Thrawn finds it interesting that Republic shuttles keep transport logs of their destinations that they've been to, where they've travelled to, because Chiss ships use a different method of travel. And looking at the grass patterns on the planet, Thrawn works out there's another ship parked nearby.
This is so Thrawn.
And Anakin kind of sick of him as like, "Oh, what are you? A planet expert now?" And Thrawn's like, "I've been above this planet for days, just watching." I downloaded the nature documentary on the grass here. I know what it's meant to look like. Based on the imprints,
I know
the ship was
grass.
here with regroup
Fuck you.
patterns. Trust me, I'm Thrawn. You don't know
Thrawn,
grass.
you
I
can
know
trust
grass.
me. I know my shit. We all know grass here.
And the Joe decide they should take Thrawn's ship to a landing strip near the outpost, Black Spire, to try and find more information. Anakin sends R2 back to his ship to be backup. In Black Spire outpost, they head towards a bar. Before they go in, Thrawn tags 5 people approaching them. Anakin wonders it's the smugglers from the forest back for revenge, but Thrawn doesn't think it could be, unless it's, a different faction of the same group. The others called ahead. Heading into the bar, Thrawn asks the bartender for information on Padme and Dooja, claiming they're sisters, and he's like, "Hey, have you seen my friend?" and puts 1 coin on the counter. He's like, "She was here to find her sister," and puts a 2nd coin up. their father sent us here, puts a third coin up. He's really ill, fourth coin, and wants us to bring him back, fifth coin. The bartender's just watching this, slightly confused with what this kid is doing.
He doesn't know what the fuck this guy's trying to do.
The
I just
bartender,
want this to go on for a long time. Just like they're up to like 50 coins, and he's still going.
and then my dentist said, "You have shiny teeth. 2 more coins."
Another coin. Oh god.
The bartender looks at the partner and is like, "Look, dudes, I can't help you, and I'm sorry about what's going to happen." And then gas starts spewing from the bar. Anakin holds his breath and gets ready to attack, but Thrawn, jumping up on the bar top, knocks him, and he accidentally lets some of the gas in, and he pulls out his lightsaber, decides he's going to do more damage than it's worth, he presses the emergency button on his comlink, and falls to the ground. He wakes up to find R2 over him, and Thrawn sitting in a chair facing away, 4 bodies around him.
That's the most ominous way. Thrawn set that shit up. You know he did. He was like, oh, I have an opportunity to look really badass here.
The bar is secure, but as I saw 5 people outside and there's only 4 in here, it makes sense the last conspirator is outside waiting to see the outcome. I suggest we pick which narrative we want to tell when we leave. And Thrawn's like, look, he's going to be telling his bosses what's happened out here, so we have choices. We can either be like, you're dead, I'm dead. And Anakin's like, look, I don't want to play dead. I'm a Jedi. And Thrawn's like, oh, I thought you were a Jedi.
We don't do that.
You see, I know in this area of the galaxy there are 2 who carry lightsabers, Jedi and Sith. But the Sith were known to be smart and cunning, so I was already leaning towards Jedi for you. And Anakin's like, really insulted.
Yeah, right?
He suggests, hey, what if they think we have a prisoner? What if we take one of the corpses, I use the Force to make it look like it's still alive, carry it to my ship, fly with it.
What?
I can activate the comm blocker so they can't call for help. He'll have to drive back to his base. You can tail him. All good, huh?
What the fuck? What is this plan?
And Thrawn's like, yeah. I mean, I wanted you to be dead, but sure. we can
I
try
wanted to
this.
puppet your corpse around as a distraction.
And Thrawn gets up out of the chair, and like the front of his uniform is covered in blaster shots. And Anakin's like, whoa, are you okay? He's like, I was shot, but luckily Chiss uniforms are made to absorb blaster shots and, like, you know, distribute the blast so it doesn't hurt you too badly.
Interesting.
So yeah, they do this. Anakin has like a couple of minutes to practice puppeting this corpse, and after a couple of minutes, Thrawn's like, you know what, this is good enough. Anakin takes the corpse outside, just flops him over in front of his one-person Jedi Starfighter, gets in the cockpit and starts flying. Activates the comm block, takes off, flies slowly, and that's when one of the sides of his ship just explodes.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Because of course someone set a bomb there. As it, you know,
Of
tilts,
course.
As it tilts, the corpse falls off, so they've lost their body. He has to speed up to, like, you know, be fast enough so wind resistance will keep him upright. But because he's going fast, the comm blocking radius is no longer covering the area that it needs to. So he has to quickly spin the ship around, go back towards the outpost. He sees a landing field where there's a firefight going on between Thrawn and a droid. So he flies his ship over it, he opens the cockpit, he just jumps out and falls into the ground below.
Damn.
It's a Techno-Union droid Thrawn's fighting, but Anakin comes down, takes it out no issue, and realizes that Thrawn captured the fifth person from outside the bar. And turns out the ship outside is his. It's where he went to make contact. We should investigate it. Before we do, Anakin checks in that R2's alright, tells him to come meet them. R2's not happy because Anakin's Starfighter is now lodged in a tree somewhere. Doesn't matter though. You can litter on this planet.
Of course, yeah, it doesn't matter. There's no environmental impact at all. Yeah, we're
Before we
fine.
enter the ship, they look at the design, they decide it's a separatist fighter, and decide to have a look at the cargo while they wait for R2. In the hold, they find some metals. Thrawn assumes it's going to a manufacturing facility. And he points out that some of the crates here are the same style of crate the smugglers outside of Padme's ship had. So having a little look in the box more, he realises the top is like the valuable metal, but a couple of layers down it's just filled with scraps to try and bulk profits.
Sneaky.
Thrawn kind of uses this to determine there's two factions at play here. There's separatists, probably, who want these metals, and there's some smugglers who are cutting the separatists off, being like middlemen, messing with the shipments. Then there's Padme and Duja, who just walked into whatever's going on here.
They're just here, you know?
R2, looking at the ship's logs, finds out it was going to travel to the planet Samal. And while Anakin is all ready to, let's head there, we gotta find Padme, we gotta make sure she's safe. Thrawn points out that, yes, sure, it's going in the direction of Samil, but there are 11 planets on that path it could have been landing at.
Oh no.
Luckily, Thrawn says he can work out which planets.
Of course. Of course he can, he's Thrawn.
Because there's some drama happening in the bar. He can tell because he has a listening device. Anakin's confused, because wasn't our whole plan we were blocking comms? Like, how are you getting any signals? And Thrawn's like, look, you're blocking your comms. My listening device is some special chip stuff. And I have written in my notes how this works exactly.
Oh my god, actual details for the special Chiss stuff.
So, the Chiss listening device...
The Chiss
there's
device,
a mic
yeah.
in the bar. There's a mic in the bar that gets the speech and transmits it to a sonic signal that another device picks up and turns into light. And the light is then reflected from a bar all the way to where they are now, and picked up by another device on Thrawn's speeder, which then transmits it back to sonic waves, which then transmits to his earpiece.
Oh my god! I think it would be really funny if the sound quality was just hot garbage. It's just come through all of these places, and Thrawn just like puts it to his ear, and it's just like a fucking like Xbox 360 Call of Duty lobby microphone.
So Black Spire gets its name because there are petrified black trees all around it, which are the Black Spires.
Indeed, there are.
In the book, Thrawn mentions it, the light bouncing off things, and the thing he names that it's bouncing off is, in this area here, the trees.
Oh.
Yes, I believe the light is bouncing off these petrified black trees, Thrawn.
Yeah, right? He should have just left it as a Chiss bullshit, and it would have been like kind of an alpha mood, you know?
But they tried to explain it, and power to them, but also...
Why? We didn't really need to know. It's Star Wars bullshit, you know, this happens.
There's something going up at the bar, so they both get onto Thrawn's speeder, and they park just across the street. And we notice 5 goons hanging outside the bar eating.
5 goons.
And Thrawn looks at him and he's like, I think the leader's the one eating with their dominant hand. And Anakin's like, what the heck is this guy talking about? He looks and
I love Thrawn. Sorry. He's so funny.
out of the 5 goons, 4 of them are eating with their left hands, with their like blasters on the right side. So it's like, oh, their blaster in easy reach, and one of them's eating with his right hand, his blaster on his right side. So the logic is, the goons can quickly drop their spoons and get their guns, or commander can be a little bit more.
When you put it like that, yeah, that's legit.
But I also love it when Thrawn's just like, yes, based on the hands they're eating with, you can tell who the commander is.
I love how BBC Sherlock Thrawn can get sometimes. It's really fun for me. I adore it, actually.
As long as it doesn't give you PTSD, that's what matters.
Oh, every single time that I open my door when I'm drunk, and like I don't exactly get the key right first time, I'm just like, oh fuck, BBC Sherlock is going to diagnose me with alcoholism now. Oh no. We've all been there.
So Thrawn's hearing device still working. He finds out the bartender has now woken up. Anakin suggests waiting to see what the thugs do, and sure enough, they start heading back to the bar. But even though they're thugs, one of them does the classic thing of looking left and right before crossing the road, and comes face to face with Thrawn and Anakin. and starts panicking.
He starts panicking. He really
Panicking
they
because of
shouldn't have
Anakin.
penalised road safety in this show. You like, come on now. Road safety's very important.
Thrawn starts the engine and tells Anakin to make like Farik. And Anakin's like a reek? What the? And Farik is the horned beast. It's like a mud horn. It's one of those guys.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
It's a big
Anakin
boy.
realizes, and he jumps from a bonnet and ignites his saber and holds it forward to feel like a horned beast. And Thrawn just accelerates, and yeah, there's an ensuing fight. But Thrawn and Anakin win, and they take a
Hell
prisoners
yeah.
into a shop where the bartender has been moved to. They enter, and one of the guys sees a prisoner, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's you, one of our gang." And they see Thrawn and Anakin, and they're like, "Oh my god, you're not part of our gang." And Thrawn and Anakin are like, "Look, give us the information, or people die." And my friend here is a Jedi, and he will read your feelings. So if you lie, he will know. And then he asides Anakin, "That's something you can do, right?" Yeah, it's something we can do. Don't worry about it. Okay, thanks.
They
Yeah,
didn't
he'll
check
read your
beforehand.
feelings. So Thrawn does his normal style of questioning, which is him explaining to them what's happened. A bartender, whose name is Janot, was telling the thieves about the separatist shipments. And, getting a little profit off the top. And Deirdre and
Yeah,
Padme's
just giving a
arrival has
little bit
brought
off
too much attention and messed up their plans, because suddenly the separatists had more eyes on the area. They find out that Deirdre's dead, but none of the smugglers claim responsibility, and Anakin, doing his weird force fittings thing, is like, "Yep, sadly, I can't get any revenge here. I can't murder any of these guys in anger." And Thrawn's like, "What?" Anakin's like, Nothing, don't worry about it.
Nothing.
I'm sane."
Don't need to worry about that. Not relevant.
Thrawn then tells everybody that they're all stuck here with only one ship left, the Separatist ship, which him and Anakin will be taking to the planet Mokivja, where the base is. A name of planet.
What?
Anakin feels
The planet
everyone's
what?
senses. Mokivja.
Mokivja. Okay.
Mokivja. And
Mokivja.
when the name's said, everyone of the bad guys has a little heart attack and starts a fight. And at the end of it, Anakin kills all of them except the bartender. The bartender tells him that Padme's safe. She left on a different ship. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it. Hey.
Don't worry about it.
Anakin tells him to hide out because people are going to be looking for him, but he should be okay. But he turns to Thrawn as they leave and goes, "How did you know it's Mokivja?" It's like, yeah, it was a guess. Like out of the planets of the list, it was like the most likely based on ecosystem and wildlife. But as I said, there was another group outside waiting to attack us. So worst case scenario, we could have done this one more time and got another guess. I was like, but there was 11 planets. You only had 2 guesses, and Thrawn was like, yeah, well, I would have got it the second time, I'm sure.
I mean, what the fuck? This is really I love this because Thrawn he's being BBC Sherlock. He's being a very, very smart man, but I feel like Anakin is dragging him down somewhat. The intelligence level is plummeting the further we get into this adventure.
Yep. So Thrawn and Anakin and R2 get on the Separatist ship, and Anakin's like, "Don't you want to take your ship?" It's like, "No, I don't want to arrive from my ship." It's like, what about the guys who said are following us? Won't they be after us? Like, yeah, but to get another ship and get to our planet, maybe a couple of hours behind. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
And the 2 of them head off to Mokivja. And I think it's now time we find out what Padme was up to on Batu.
Yes, I would like to know.
Flashback to a week or 2 earlier. Padme lands on Batu and instantly meets a pair of smugglers who ask about her nice ship. And she explains that she's here to sell it to some guy. They're like, "Oh, so have you come here to meet her, the person selling it to?" Padme's like, this is already a red flag because, it implies that Dooja's known about. But she plays it off well. She's like, "Oh no, I don't know where he is. Is there a bar I could go to check?" Like, "Oh yeah, go to Black Spire Cantina. It's where everyone gets into fights. Okay, cool. So she heads into Black Spire on a speeder, and she likes the black trees. And as she enters the town, she walks up to a bar, but notices a kind of display in the center, like an ornate kind of table. Oh, it's a coffin.
Hmm. Oh, fuck.
Oh, there's Dooja inside.
Oh, fuck.
Just her body.
And then
Just her
you
body
too can see the body of Dooja at
for
Disney
everyone in
World.
town to have a look at. And Padme makes an active effort not to look. She heads into a bar. Bart's like, "Hey, did you come here to collect your friend?" She's like, "No, I'm here to sell a ship to some guy. Have you heard of him?" Nope. I was like, ah. Well, in my people, it's like accustomed to write poems for the dead, and since no one here seems to know who she is, do you think anyone would mind if I wrote a poem and just sang it to her? But I was like, oh, bit weird, but sure, go for it.
Hmm.
Padme writes a poem, and when she goes to read it, I was like, "Do you want me to join? Does that make it more powerful?" I was like, "It doesn't really matter. It's more like just the act of saying it. They're dead anyway. They don't really care." But I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna stay here in case lunch rush." Padme goes out, and she takes a moment, pretending to read her poem. As a moment to just say goodbye to her friend, and she takes a brooch off Doja Cat's outfit.
Doja Cat's outfit. We had the exact same thought.
She takes a brooch off Doja Cat's outfit, and she then goes back into the bar and is like, "Look, this may seem a bit suspicious that I'm leaving right after I say goodbye to the dead girl, but the person I'm selling my ship to isn't here. I'm leaving. Goodbye."
I don't think you should acknowledge that, Padme. Yeah, I know this is a bit sus, but I'm doing it.
She goes back to her ship. She sends some messages to Anakin, letting him know what's up. Then she goes outside, and like this brooch she stole, it's described as looking like a kid made it. It's described to look like something that no one would ever steal, because it's a hiding place for the beacon call to Dooja's ship.
Ooh.
So Padme presses the hidden button, and Dooja's ship flies over and lands, and it has slightly better weapons than Padme's. She's like, "This is what I'm taking."
Sick. Trade it up.
And using the information on Doja's ship, she finds out that Doja found a separatist factory on planet Mokivja. Padme's like, "I could wait for Anakin to get my messages and arrive, but if the separatists are onto Doja, then they could be packing up that base, and I should get there quickly. And like, if there are locals there, when separatists pack up their bases, a lot of people could get hurt, so I better just go." Padme arrives over Mokivja, and she decides to fly near the surface to try and not get shot down, but a voice droid sees her and shoots her down. And she manages to crash her ship in a river and almost drowns.
Great work, Padme. Excellent work.
But she doesn't drown. She gets out and she swims down with her a bit. She passes like a mine on her way down. She's like, "That's interesting, but I'm not going there. I'm going to this factory." And she sees the factory and she pulls herself out of the river. Straight, instantly coming face to face with 3 humans called Lebjiao, Huga, and Chimmy.
Shimmy.
Originally, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're a spy sent by the Duke. He's on to us. Oh god. What? Oh no, we have to kill her. What are we gonna do?" But no. I just crashed here. I'm a wealthy person. Here's a gem I have in my pocket. If you send messages to my uncle Anakin, he'll come pay you a big ransom for me, because I'm worth a lot of money.
The universal signal of a rich person. You have to check their pockets for gems just to see if they're carrying
Have a
them around
gem.
to prove themselves. Have a gem. I carry this around just to prove that I am a rich person.
So 3 men are like, "Okay, we'll trust you." Lebjiao is building a ship, a boat that we can hide you in. We were out here fishing. It's fun. But the issue with your plan is that the communication network is down. No messages from the system are being sent. And it would take hundreds of clogged up messages before anyone comes out to fix it. I was like, hundreds of clogged up messages. Send 500. Send 500 messages asking my Uncle Anakin to come pay your ransom. But, whoa, fine, yep, we'll do that. Come with us to this boat. We'll hide you away. On the walk, as they pass under an energy shield, they explain to Padme that the factory is run by this Duke and 2 other people. And it's separatists are building something, for using produce from the planet's mine. And Padme's surprised for using local staff instead of a full droid staff. And wonders if it's a separatist offshoot, whether it's like the main separatists, whether there's like a rogue group of separatists who are doing their own plans.
Ooh. A separatist from the separatists, you might say.
Yep, double separatist squared. And the men explain that, they're workers at the factory, and technically they're not allowed to leave, but the food in the factory sucks, so they sneak out to do some fishing. And that's why Lebjow's building a boat. Padme's like, oh man, if we can liberate this planet before the floods come, Lebjow will be able to finish his boat. And then she sees the boat, and she's like, never mind, this is a wreck. It's not going to be seaworthy anytime soon.
Never mind, it's an awful boat.
And yeah, but back to home for the next few days.
Oh, she just hangs out with these guys. That's quite nice.
Nope, they have to go back to the factory. They sneak her food and drink every day, but she just lives in a boat.
She just lives in the shitty boat.
In constant fear of being discovered.
Oh jeez, that's not fun. That's not. I bet she's kind of regretting following this really great tip from Doja, who's just dead. From Doja Cat is just dead.
It's always sad when the great artists die young.
Yeah, I know, right? She really did paint that town red,
Personally, I think if it was Olivia Rodrigo, it would be a real sad ballad of a homeschooled girl.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I can guarantee you, I don't know that this is I don't know this song, but I can guarantee that's an Olivia Rodrigo song, isn't it?
Yep.
Carry on with the podcast.
I mean, not referencing Olivia Rodrigo songs would be a bad idea, right?
Fuck off.
Man, you seem a bit sour now. But I know it's just jealousy.
I hate the fact I don't get these references. This is so absurd.
Good for you, Emily. Good for you.
I got that one. That one I did understand.
You're being a real bloodsucker right now.
Oh, I know that one. Does she say in that song? Okay, because I've heard that song, the vampire one.
Fame fucker.
I thought it was Fang Fucker.
Like a goddamn vampire.
And I was just like, what the fuck is it? What the fuck is a Fang Fucker?
I heard another version of it and it didn't have that, and it was like a better version. I was like, what is this? And I've never heard it again, so I maybe just
like the clean version of it, maybe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Olivia Rodrigo.
Olivia Rodrigo, everyone.
We're now going to leave Padme in the past.
Oh no!
Go back to Thrawn and Anakin.
They never did find her. She spent the rest of her life in that boat.
On the ride to Mokivja, Thrawn and Anakin discuss the Republic and the Clone Wars, and Thrawn's getting all the juicy goss, and he now feels like he is an expert, even though he hasn't seen any of the art. He kind of gets it, he's like, so there's this Dooku guy, he's a bad boy, there's this Palpatine guy, he's a good boy, there are these Jedi, they're like uptight assholes but also good. There are clones, they all look the same. There are droids, they all look the same.
Hey, that's a bit. I mean, like the clones you can get away with. The droids do not look the same. Thrawn. That's a little bit racially insensitive.
Do all look the same. And Anakin tells Thrawn to change his outfit so that they can blend in. And Thrawn says, if I'm changing my outfit, then you should also change your outfit into something that looks less like a warrior's garb. Anakin's like, what do you mean warrior's garb? And Thrawn points out how he's literally wearing an armor chest plate, but also his dress means that he has free motion in the legs. His arms aren't restricted by any armor around them, so he has a lot of arm movement. It's perfect for speed, it's perfect for agility, but also it's got protection. It's like an outfit tailor-made for a warrior. And Anakin's like, wow, I have never heard anything this gay.
Right?
I've never... I've never thought about my fashion choices as much.
Gay.
Thrawn, are you one of those homos? And he's like, no, I haven't met Eli Vanto yet. I was like, what? I was like, huh?
This is for the future or slash the past because we've already covered this story.
The ballot of Eli and Thrawn.
Yeah.
Anakin and Thrawn change outfits to look like scum, and Anakin makes a secret modification to R2-D2 because it wouldn't be a Star Wars story unless someone made a secret modification to R2-D2.
This is very true. It's the hallmark of a Star
It,
Wars story.
if anyone does a Crashing the Starfighter drinking game ever, modification to R2-D2, down your drink. Back to Padme now after that small little interlude, apparently.
But we are going back to Padme?
This is where I've ordered it. There's that one little interlude with Thrawn and...
we spent 2 seconds with them. All they did was say, hey, your outfit is a bit gay, right? And then they got changed. And then we went back to Padme. That's really fucking funny.
After a few days on the boat, Lidra explains the inside of a factory and how he and all the human workers live in the South Wing, which need this special wristband to enter.
This is so Resident Evil.
All the important work is done in the North and East Wings, and the West Wing is empty, and there are service tunnels underneath, so they can get her in, and she can hide out there, and it won't be in a half-built boat. It'll be inside.
Okay.
Padme's like, yep, let's go, and, once we're in there, I can see what I can do to take it down, am I right? And Le's like, hang on, I thought you were just some rich person who crashed here. Are you actually a spy? Were we right the first time? She's like, yes, but not for the Duke. I work for the Republic. Look, please get me inside. I promise I'm not going to ruin your livelihood or anything. So, this is a bit suspicious. That was very specific, but sure. Let's go. Let me take you into the factory. Pampa's like, yep. I mean, what's worse could happen? It's like we're gonna accidentally destroy your world or anything. And with Padme set up in the West Wing, Lebjar returns to the South Wing. But he mentions, if he's caught, we take him to the Bins, which is a makeshift prison in the East Wing.
The Bins.
Getting comfy, Padme's thinking about how, the coming days she'll have a little explore this area, try and work out where things are. As the outside lights start beaming. Oh my god. Do they know someone's here that's not meant to be? Are they looking for me? And then she sees 2 vulture droids fly down with another ship, and she's like, oh. Okay, it's fine, it's just a ship landing. There's spotlights facing one way onto the landing field, so 2 people get off the ship, and she can't make out who they are. Meanwhile, Anakin and Thrawn walk off the ship.
Are we going back to Padme now?
Anakin sees... Yeah. Anakin...
I'm sorry,
You
I'm
bitch.
so sorry. I am actually the worst. You definitely didn't write that joke.
So yeah, Anakin and Thrawn come off the ship, and through the spotlight they see someone walking towards them. Anakin notices the cape is Serenian. And if you know anything about Sereno,
Which I do.
you know that it's where Count Dooku's from. Anakin's like, oh my god, if this is Count Dooku, I'm Rumble because he'll recognize me. He'll be like, hey, didn't I take off your arm once? Might be just be an awkward conversation in front of my new blue friend. So he's just
that would be
trying to work out if this is Count Dooku walking towards him. Meanwhile, Thrawn's there, like, hey, look over to the left. Look over to the left. So, he looks over. There's a shipwreck of 2 other people next to it who are both also wearing Serenian gear. And he's like, cool.
Oh,
He goes back to this guy, and the guy speaks and says, what do you want here? And he's like, that whiny little voice isn't Dooku's. We're golden.
This is too much of a little bitch to be Dooku.
So, look, so we came from Batuu. We found some smuggler guys who were dead, and this was their ship. There was this weird hooded guy on it, so we threw him off. This blue droid, here's his. And we decided, you know what, we're going to bring this gear to you and hope we get a reward. And Serenian's like, well, now we have the gear, we're going to kill you. And he's like, wait, because I think there was a girl on Batuu who was fighting with the smugglers, and you see, she came on this ship and put in her location, and then the smugglers came and put their location over the top. But her location is still in there, so we can tell you where her base is. Well, if it's in the ship computers, I'll just look at it myself. Yeah, but we deleted the records and hid it behind a log, and we did half a code each, while the droid was in the room watching us. And so you need to keep us alive to get the code to know where your enemy's base is, and we want a reward, and hopefully to take the ship with us when we go, if that's okay. Anakin's like using the Force, sensing the Duke, and trying to make sure he sees the flaw in the plan. Ah! Oh yes, you want a reward? Come with me. And some B2s walk towards him, some B1s come over from behind to guard the ship. You know, B2s are super battle droids, B1s are... You know this, right?
Yeah, I know them.
B1s, B2s.
I know that. Yeah, I know these. Okay. Don't worry about it.
And as they start walking towards the exit, the Duke's like, don't worry about your astromech who was there when you put the codes and probably saw it all. We're gonna take him somewhere else and just make sure that he's not got any secret gear on him. And before Anakin and R2 are separated, Anakin gives R2 a little love pat, and R2 opens a little compartment in his head. And using a Force, Anakin lifts up his lightsaber and just sneaks it up next to one of the B1's arms. And as they're walking towards the exit, Thrawn suddenly runs towards the Duke. The B2s start aiming at him. He's like, wait. What if this astromech is a bomb? That's why we're allowed to bring him. And the Duke goes, scan by droids, see if it's a bomb. And that's when Anakin, using a Force, switches off the lights. Padme in the distance sees the hangar just suddenly go to darkness. And then using a Force again, he ignites his lightsaber in the middle of the B1s, just starts swinging it around from a distance.
Wildly.
Padme sees this blue lightsaber just spinning around. She's like, oh my god, a Jedi's here. Could it be Anakin? Then Anakin throws the lightsaber up on the roof, just as the lights turn on again. He's like, oh my god, that hooded guy, he's after revenge. And him and Thrawn start running towards the door, and the door opens to reveal more B2s. And the Duke's like, hang on, if they're after you, there's no way you'll be safer than prison, so let's arrest you. And Padme recognizes her dumbass husband being arrested. He's like, if only I knew where these prisons were. Oh wait, I do. I should go and save them.
Of course. This is a regular occurrence for you, Padme, I know.
In the cells, the Duke explains that I'm the leader here. I'm called Duke Sohar. I'm from Sereno, which you already know, and I'm a big boy in the Separatist Alliance, or so Count Duke tells me.
I am a very big boy. Count Dooku calls me his special little boy.
I'm Dooku's special little boy. He has big faith in me. That's why I'm here. Anyway, this droid, he's our friend now. We're going to take him to make sure he's not a bomb. Haha. Bye. And Anakin notices as R2 leaves, he leaves a little trail of oil behind him. And then the pair start planning their escape. Padme wants to save her husband, so she heads back to the service tunnels and starts making her way to the factory's east wing. And on the way, she hears voices and sees lights in the distance. She follows them, they go up a service hatch, and she follows and to be grabbed from behind. She pulls her gun on her attacker. It turns out it's Hugo and Chimney. She's like, oh guys, Uncle Annie's here, he's arrived for a reward, it's all good. I'm just gonna get him. He's in jail. They're like, man, a jailbreak, we didn't sign up for this. But Lebjar's not here, which means more money for us. So sure, we'll help you get him there. She's like, great. Well, to get in, I need one of his wristbands. Have you got a spare? Like, yep, someone died recently. Their wristband broke and came off. But the bad news is, it can't be activated again. I was like, oh, well, show me it and we'll see what we can do. So they take Padme to the area where the sleeping workers are. They steal some other workers' clothes to give her, because, to make her look... No one here can look nice, we all need to look like scum.
Yeah, they all need to look like scum. We've established this. Everyone has to change their clothes to look like scum.
Yep. Otherwise they're gay. Anakin said so.
Exactly. Anakin says so. That's definitely canon. You're spreading misinformation about Thrawn and Anakin out into the wilds.
They go to this pile of dead people stuff, and Padme looks at it and is like, wow, there's a lot of stuff here. People die here often. And one of the others just replies, yeah, once each. And they find the wristband. And
that's such a cool response for like a throwaway guy.
They work out that it needs an electrical charge to lock it. So they go to a door, they find a couple of droids, and the droids instantly see that Padme's wristband isn't working and want to take her to jail. So she walks past them. One of them's like, following her with a gun. She suddenly stops, so the gun goes past her. She then shoots both of them, and using some droid parts, she gets the electrical charge and gets the wristband to work. She then walks up to the door
really
and
is that
opens.
bitch.
She's like, "Great, let's go save Uncle Annie from prison." And we're like, "Padme, we're not idiots. We haven't even sent the messages yet, and your uncle's here, which means there's no reward for us. You're probably lying to us. We helped you because we're good people, but from this point, you're on your own."
Ooh.
She's like, "Okay."
I love the fact that we've chosen to address. We're not addressing the fact that she's calling Anakin her uncle for this entire thing.
I feel like it's one of those things which is best to avoid talking
Yeah,
about.
I feel like
too long.
I kind of regret mentioning it, actually.
Padme rounds a corner and walks into Anakin, because of course they escaped using some oil and some ripped fabric from their clothes. And Padme goes to hug him.
No, that is gay.
And Anakin lifts his hands a bit. "Hey Padme, this is my friend Thrawn. He helped me." Anakin's worried, but Thrawn's already suspicious of their relationship, thinking Anakin's on some kind of personal quest, chasing her for personal reasons.
It's also very personal.
Doesn't want him to see them hug, even though he knows that this guy is never going to go to Coruscant, never going to be able to snitch to Palpatine about his relationship. So he hasn't really got anything to fear. But
not really.
Better safe than sorry.
Poor little boy.
And Padme introduces herself to Thrawn, and he just goes, "Is that a grappling hook you have? But the plan is simple.
Are you happy to see me?"
Me and Padme will go up to the roof and get your lightsaber. You, Anakin, can create a distraction." Anakin's like, hang on. Why don't I spend time with my friend here? Padme, go see Jabba. And Thrawn has a moment of pause, and he's like, "You're a Jedi. You can do damage on your own. We're not. You make a distraction. We'll get the lightsaber. We'll join you. It's all good."
So good.
And Padme is like, "Yeah, that is the best plan." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, it's a good plan. Damn it. I just want to hug you." I mean, Thrawn, don't listen.
No listening.
Anakin begins to argue, but an alarm starts going off. So he's like, "You know what? How about I make a distraction, and you two get my lightsaber?" Padme's like, "Good idea, Anakin. We'll do that." Padme leads Thrawn to the service act tunnels to get outside the facility. And on the way out, they run into Lebjao, who's shocked to see Padme running around with an alien who obviously isn't her uncle. She's like, "Oh no, Lebjao, this is Uncle Annie's friend, Thrawn, who I know."
Who I definitely am related to.
"You know how you said that you didn't want anyone shutting down your facility? Well, I think you should start evacuating this facility." And Lebjao's like, No, Padme, you're overstepping here. This is our lives, our livelihood. If you take this away, we're not going to have jobs. We're not going to have, any safety in our lives. Sure, this is a separatist facility, and you're not separatists, but this is our life. You can't... And Thrawn steps in, cold voice. This factory's going to get destroyed, whether you like it or not. You can start evacuating people. We can't tell you how long you have, but it is limited time. So you better hurry up. And Padme is gets chills by how cold he sounds when he says it. And Lebjao listens and runs off to try and start evacuating. And Padme is like, Did you mean it when you said you're going to destroy this factory? Thrawn turns to her, is like, "It's what he needed to hear to achieve the goals we wanted."
Okay, Thrawn.
And they get outside. They get up to the roof. And on the roof, Padme sees Thrawn walking ahead, and he's talking to himself. Padme's confused by this. Then she sees lights in the distance. And the Vulture droids start flying and taking out these lights, and there's multiple of them falling down. And Padme asks Thrawn what's up, and he's like, "Oh, they're distractions for my ship. Can you see it?" Padme looks around the horizon. She's like, "No, I can't." He's like, Thrawn just points up, and their ship is hovering above them, just above the shield. Thrawn then grabs the grappling hook from Padme's hands, runs over to Anakin's lightsaber, runs to the wall to the central courtyard and jumps down, and runs over to the shield generator. And he just starts hitting it with a lightsaber. he disables the shield, then he like cuts it free. And Padme's chased after him. She's like, "What are you doing?" And he hands back the grappling gun and Anakin's lightsaber. And he's like, "Look, my mission here is I sent over Chiss to get the shield generator. I'm gonna get this shield generator, and that's my mission. So you better go help Anakin." And Padme feels really hurt by this, betrayed by this person
She doesn't
just
even know
met
the
but doesn't really
guy.
trust.
Yeah, she doesn't know him. Why is she hurt? If it was Anakin, I would just be like, "Oh, dude, we've had some times," but like, she doesn't know him.
But reluctantly, she agrees and goes to get Anakin. Meanwhile, Anakin, who doesn't have a wristband, so he's been just like, you know, in video games where you carry like a corpse, but there's no way to carry a corpse; it's just floating next to you.
Yeah, it's just there.
He's just force holding a droid body next to him so he can get through the doors. Gets
Oh,
into the
God.
central room, and in this room there's some B1s, there's some B2s. One of them's being programmed. He sees R2 next to the reprogramming table, and for a moment he's like, "Oh my god, is R2 being reprogrammed?" No, he's not plugged in. And in the center, Duke Sohar. And Anakin is so sure of himself, he's like, "I can mess this up." So he gets one of the B1s to aim its gun at the B2 and fire. B2 instantly lifts its arm, but Duke Sohar gets it. He's like, No, don't shoot each other. The Jedi is in here. We need to be on alert." And that's when there's some explosions from an outside wall. It's like, we're under attack. Droids, to the courtyard, see what's up. I'm going to run this way. And before you realise it, the room's empty with just 3 B2s left.
This guy's so stupid.
Then Anakin feels a breeze, and he realises that Padme's entered the room behind him. She tells him that Thrawn's left, but he obviously made a distraction, which worked. And they have a bit of time to shut the factory down. Anakin jumps down into the middle of the room and ignites his lightsaber, goes to swipe one of the B2s. His saber hits it, and deactivates itself.
What?
He's like, "Oh, this doesn't seem good."
No, it doesn't.
Thinking fast, he gets up close to one of the B2s as it's shooting, and he manages to, because he's up close, get his lightsaber activated and shoots the blast from the barrel back up the barrel and just explode this guy's arm. And now, because it can't shoot him, it's less of a threat, so he just like stays near it using it as a shield, stabs out its eye socket, and deactivates it. It's like they're looking at the other two. It's like, oh god, how am I going to take these two down? When suddenly lightning shoots down from the balcony and hits both of them. He looks up and he sees Padme, and standing just behind her is a blue boy holding a rifle of some sort.
He came back!
Jumping down, Thrawn tells Anakin that the first droid was training for him. Now Anakin knows how he can take him down. And he then says that his gun only had 3 shots, 2 of which he's now used, and the third one will need later. Padme points out that Thrawn said he was going, and he corrects, saying that his mission comes first. And with it now complete, and his ship back in orbit, he's free to do what he wishes. Thrawn takes a pair over to a box of mined metals, and explains that it's called cortosis. It's a metal that absorbs and dissipates energy blasts. He gets Anakin to activate his lightsaber and hit it, and sure enough, the metal makes his lightsaber turns off. Thrawn has no idea why the lightsaber reacts what it does to it, but that doesn't matter. Anakin wants to destroy the factory and stop droids being made with this material.
Yeah, no shit.
But Thrawn suggests instead changing the mold slightly, so that instead of this factory just being shut down and moving the project elsewhere, they still make the droids. But every time they shoot, they start to overheat and they slowly destroy themselves.
Oh god, that's horrible. Like the droids are like they're like thinking like sentient things, right? These are the sorts of droids that are like actually sentient, are they?
So separatist droids shouldn't be. Like they're meant to have like limited brains. But because of the demand needed by the war, they are getting more and more sentient because they're just being rushed out. And like, I can't remember the exact logic, but they're more sentient because they're being mass produced than they would otherwise be. So yeah, kind of.
They're just damning these creatures to this horrible, terrible existence. It's fucking
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm the number one Thrawn response. It's fine, yeah.
Anakin and Padme agree to
Oh yeah,
this.
because Anakin is somebody you should trust where morality is concerned. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And R2 goes to the control panel and makes the needed changes, while Thrawn and Anakin decide to explore the rest of the factory and make a distraction. Finding the control room, Padme plugs R2 in and he starts making the changes, and that's when Duke Sohar appears behind her, wearing full clone trooper armor.
Huh.
She turns to him and tries to convince him that in the Senate, you're always a reasonable one, the Republic will be kind to you, you should join us, Duke has put you on the outskirts, he must not trust you. He's like, no. I'm Dooku's good little boy, or whatever I said. I'm here because he
Dooku's
trusts
special
me.
little boy.
He put me in charge of this project. This is going to put my name on the Separatist map. I'm going to be a celebrity after this. Just you wait.
Oh, this poor
Meanwhile,
guy.
in the North Wing, Thrawn and Anakin find a mold, making the clone trooper armor. And it's all lightsaber proof. Anakin assumes that Duke is going to be using it to infiltrate the Republic's army, and Thrawn points out that as it's lightsaber resistant, it'd be perfect for an attack on the Jedi. But he doesn't think that mass incursion seems like a separatist strategy, when, their main soldiers are droids who will be able to fit in the armor.
Yeah.
Anakin then senses that Padme is in danger,
Yeah, that's a good point.
and he wants to leave, but Thrawn reminds him that the mission has to come first, before revenge. And since the clone trooper armor can't be reprogrammed, they need a new plan to sort this mess out. And Anakin, he's like, man, I want to get some time of my wife away from you, and I also want to save from dying, which is important, but damn, you're right, we need to stop this. Meanwhile, Padme tries to stall Sohar while R2 finishes the job. She doesn't think he's noticed the droid, so she pulls out her gun and shoots him. And sure enough, the clone trooper armor just distributes a blast. No effect. It's like, aha! You see, I'm impervious, and I've now called some droids to our location. So Padme runs over and punches him in the face and knocks him out.
Thanks, Padme. Also, this metal, is this the stuff that the Chiss armor's made out of?
No, but it's similar.
Ah. I was just thinking because Thrawn's chest plate did the thing earlier. Did
It's
a
just
similar
a
thing.
fabric which distributes it. It's kind of like
okay.
this stuff is like vibranium, whereas what other metals are there? It's like so many weave, it just can't get shot.
It's like ballistic fiber, is that a thing?
It's like 12-ply toilet paper.
It's 24-ply toilet paper.
It's 48-ply toilet paper.
It is. Oh no. Oh fuck my maths. 96-ply toilet paper. Go on.
It's 192-ply toilet paper.
Whoa! Oh god, I'm not gonna be able to do this. This will be the last one. This will be the last one. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. 2, 5. 384-ply toilet paper.
768-ply toilet paper.
No, you need to stop.
R2's done. Droids are chasing her. They run back to where Anakin and Thrawn were. They arrive when Anakin and Thrawn's plan is almost over, and for some reason they're now both wearing the clone trooper armor as well.
Oh. Just in case.
Telling the boys there are droids following her, Anakin tells Padme and Thrawn to continue a plan, filling clone trooper helmets with raw cortosis. As Anakin goes off to meet the droids, when they see him in full armor, they ask him to identify himself, and Anakin realizes, oh, all the Serenians are wearing this armor, so they don't know I'm not Duke Sohar. So, I'm Duke Sohar? The droid's there thinking for a second, and R2 rushes in and tries to knock it over by just running into it. Doesn't do anything, but the droid's like, hey, something's not right here, and shoots Anakin. But
After you ruined it.
R2 just runs back into this droid, trying to knock it over again, and like the droid kind of has to hold onto the doorway to keep its balance. That's when Anakin gets a screwdriver, kind of stabs it into the droid, rips it open, and stabs it from the insides.
Jesus
He's
Christ.
managed to jam the droid in such a way that the doorway is now blocked. None of the other droids can get through. Bad news, R2's on the wrong side.
Come on, you had one job. R2, no.
So R2 has to find his own way out of the factory, and Anakin goes back to the others, and he arrives just when more droids arrive from the other direction. And Padme and Thrawn kind of shoot blaster bolts at each droid so they can clearly see which ones are made from a special metal and which ones aren't. They target ones that aren't special metal first. Anakin, with the Force, lifts up the cortosis-filled clone trooper helmets over the droids, then turns them over, and as the fibers fall down, Thrawn uses his last lightning shot and manages to get all the droids in once.
Whoa.
It's pretty cool stuff.
That is pretty cool stuff.
The factory here is still working though, so Anakin's like, look, the armor may be lightsaber resistant, but the walls and pillars and things aren't. I'm gonna bury this. You two go find a ship. And that's what they do. They leave. Anakin's there. He's just, going full destruction on this place. He buries it all.
Doing Anakin stuff.
Haha. This won't be rebuilt anytime soon. And heading out to the courtyard, Anakin sees that him and Thraw's shuttle is guarded by droids. And he thinks that the other Serenians are probably in there. And that's when Anakin sees a second shuttle. And Padme's on the boarding ramp. There are some of the smugglers from Batuu just dead or unconscious around it. As Anakin walks towards it, Lebjao appears, and he's carrying R2, and he's like, this droid was stuck, I helped him, can I get left out of here?
Yay!
Most people have been evacuated. And Anakin's like, I don't really know who you are, but sure, get on the shuttle. And as they take off, Anakin's like, where did you pull this miracle from, Thrawn? And Thrawn's like, I did tell you that the smugglers from Batuu would be a couple of hours behind us. This is another shuttle from a planet. They followed us here and gave us the exact escape we needed. And as they take off, Anakin tells his companions they can't leave until they've destroyed the mines. Thrawn doesn't think that this is a good idea. He honestly thinks that Anakin hasn't thought it through, and Padme agrees. But thinking back to when he went apeshit on the Tuscans, she's like, yeah, but sometimes you just can't speak to him. My husband, everyone.
This is the man that I married, everyone.
They lead all the miners they can to their ship to evac as Anakin sets some mines. And after this, Padme tries to convince Thrawn to come with him to Coruscant and speak to Palpatine, but he declines for now, saying that his mission is complete, and he gets in his ship and takes off.
Whee!
Anakin and Padme fly a bit, drop off the miners at a safe distance. Lebjao asks for a lift off the planet, because he's like, look, I helped you guys destroy all my people's jobs, employment prospects, living. I'm going to be lynched if I stay here. Can you give me a lift somewhere?
It's fair.
Anakin's like, hey, I hear they're looking for a bartender on Batuu. Do you want to go there? He's like, you know what, sure. As they take off, Anakin presses the detonator to collapse some mine tunnels. Nothing too major. But what Anakin didn't think was that it's a cortosis mine they're blowing up.
Oh.
Cortosis absorbs energy.
Oh. Anakin.
So
you're fucking stupid. I'm also stupid. I didn't see this coming.
So what was meant to be tunnels collapsing turns into lava erupting from the surface.
Oh,
and
fucking hell.
Just slowly covering the wilderness. And
Anakin.
As they take off, they're both horrified. But Padme's like, in her head, she's like, collateral damage. The cost of war. All these cliches which she's telling herself to try and make it seem right.
Jesus.
And that's the end of the Clone Wars saga of the story.
Ba 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 ba. Whoa.
And it's time for an interlude.
Ooh.
First of all, Emily, what did you think of the Clone Wars section of this book?
I very much enjoyed it. I thought that honestly, after reading that, I'm just like, I kind of wanna. I love Eli. I do. Eli will never be replaced. But however, I do
Yep.
also want another adventure with Anakin and Thrawn being stupid little boys because I think it was very fun. They were just so dumb. We love to see it.
They're trying to make Anakin seem clever, but also put Anakin next to Thrawn, who just seems like so
Yeah.
fake at all times.
It's like putting like a child from like the gifted and talented program in your school next to like a fucking like chess wizard who can do like 1,000 things. Oh god.
What was your favourite moment from that bit we just read?
My favourite moment was when we switched to Anakin and Thrawn so that so that they could get changed, and then we went back to Padme.
I'm glad I entertained.
Oh, it was very, very good. Wow, that was me just opening a beverage on the podcast. It's okay, we can edit that out.
You have some podcast beverages, do you?
I do. Not alcoholic beverage. There, I'm a responsible adult. Just a Pepsi. I was thirsty. Okay.
I'm just trying to
But yeah,
find
no,
the latest style.
okay. I was only going to go on a little bit more about the general homoeroticism of the content, which is quite high, considering that Padme was there. The content was still quite high, and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Padme doesn't really have much to do in this, but
She really didn't.
we stand.
No, we have to stand.
It's Padme. What do you expect?
Yeah, it's Padme. I do like the way that she kind of outed herself at the end there, just like, oh yeah, well you know, Anakin will be Anakin. Sometimes you just can't talk him down from a murderous rage, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's really sad actually.
it kind of is. It's like a really
girl,
sad
get
foreshadowing,
yourself help,
genuinely.
please.
Yeah.
Before we continue with the Imperial storyline, there's some news, and I thought news in the center sounds good to me.
Yeah,
And,
news.
Because it's been a while, there have been a few announcements I wanted to bring up. There's no Googling
Let's
news
go.
live on the podcast this time.
Whoa, organization.
So we have comic news, we have
Ooh.
TV news, and we have book news. Which one would you like to hear first?
Ooh. Ooh, let's go comics first.
Thrawn in another comic? That's the headline.
Whoa!
So last year, Star Wars did a comic issue called Revelations 1. And the idea is Darth Vader goes to the weird bog guy Mustafar and learns the future.
Yes, I remember this.
And what the comic actually was a bunch of spoilers for future storylines.
Okay, sick.
It was like, hey, what if these characters suddenly turn evil due to this reason, and what if these characters from a video game appeared in this book, and like the general consensus I saw online was, wow, I genuinely feel like I'm going to enjoy future projects less having read this. So of course they're doing another one.
Yay!
Getting new revelations. It's a one shot. It will show a glimpse into the future, so next year's Star Wars stories. It has a bunch of creators from all the current Star Wars storylines, including favourites of the show, Charles Soule and Calvin Scott. And
Oh, we do love a bit of Charles Soule here.
And the cover has Leia looking sassy. It has a Jedi I can't name, but it's probably from the High Republic. It has Vader. It has Luke Skywalker holding his yellow saber. It has in the center Jabba the Hutt, like that. At the bottom we have Lando.
Oh
We have a random hooded Jedi I can't name. We have Mace Windu, and most importantly, we have Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah.
Thrawn is exciting because
Boy is back.
I can't tell you which of the current books he'll be appearing in. Like, I can't place him in one of them.
Ooh. So are you going to get this, and are you going to read it, or are you going to try and resist it because of your experience with the last one?
I think I'll get it, but I don't think I'll read it.
This is like, the thing is that sounds ridiculous, but that's Sam logic. Well and truly. It's like I have to have this comic, but I'm not gonna read it.
I can tell you, people listening right now and be like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna do the same.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll trust you. You know what? I'll trust you.
Our favourite pronunciation guy who hasn't had a name drop recently, I'm sure he agrees.
I'm sure, of course.
The other piece of comic news. Do you want to speak more about Revelations? Yeah, I'm kind of interested to know what Thrawn, where he's going to pop up in. I'm excited by him.
Yeah.
Being like a tease, that cover on its own has worked.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot going on. By the sounds, obviously I haven't seen the cover. I've only heard you describe the cover to me, but you were just reeling off person after person being there.
Let me ask, do you want to see the cover? I can send you a link.
Yeah, I'd love to. There's probably like already a ton of like Reddit threads where they're just like, here is where I think all of these people are going to show up and what they're going to be doing already, probably.
I think a few comic writers have been teasing like some kind of Rebels comics coming out, but yeah, I don't even want to know. I didn't like last year's that much.
That's fair. Did you only not like it because of how it kind of spoiled what was coming up, or did you not like it for any other reason?
Yeah, it was like pitched kind of like, ooh, Vader's getting some insight, and it will be potential knowledge, but may or may not come true. But what it was like, hey, what if in this comic series that takes place canonically 8 years earlier in the timeline, these characters got into this mishap, and what if these characters who are nothing to do with you, Vader, maybe these other characters who are nothing to do with you? Did you consider that, Vader?
Huh? Did you think about that, Vader? You know what? I'm the sort of person who can't help but look at like leaks and spoilers for things. So like this would get me 100%. This would absolutely get me. So I can sympathize. I almost kind of wish that like it's fun to look at leaks for me, but you do regret it afterwards. So I almost kind of wish that it wasn't a thing. Which is unfortunate because I really like the art on it actually. The art on the cover is really
Mm-hmm.
it's got like it's got a nice depth to it, shall I say. I really like that picture of Leia.
It has a big jabber, so I like it.
It does. It has a big jab at the center of the frame.
It's Leia and Thrawn are like the two icons here. But also I'm a Thrawn
Mm.
fan. But yeah, Leia just looks so sassy and dumb with everything. I'm like, yep, same girl.
Look at Thrawn with all of his hair slicked back and no tiny loose strands out.
The other news, and if you go to your little sheet, there is a link to this one.
I will go back. Yes. The news links.
Do you
Let's
want to
go.
read that headline?
I will. I'm coming in. New Star Wars Vision one shot coming from Marvel and Peach Momoko. Exclusive reveal.
So this is the Star Wars Visions brand, you know, for one-shot animation things.
Yeah.
They're now doing it with comic creators, where they're just saying, hey, make your own Star Wars comic. It's a one-shot, so it's one issue. I can't remember if it says it's going to be jumbo-sized or not. But yep, just create your own world, roughly using Star Wars. And have you seen any of Peach Momoko's art before?
I feel like I've seen it somewhere. I do. I could not tell you where, but I feel like I've seen it in passing somewhere. But from what I'm
So
seeing here on this news article, it looks really cool.
she is one of the most celebrated artists in comics currently. She was brought into Marvel through this scheme called Stormbreakers, I think. Where they like specifically, fund new artists and give them a head start. And
Yeah, that's cool.
instantly, like she did a run called Demon Days X-Men, and it was the MCU, but what if it was Japanese folklore?
Oh, that's sick. That's so cool. I really like this. I'm digging these character designs.
I like the Popo, who seems to be the same species as
Mm.
Maz.
Yeah, she's really cool. She's so cute. I love her little pigtails. She's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that they all seem to wear those big cool goggles as well.
Yeah.
It's just like a thing that they do. They all wear big cool goggles. But she looks really cool. I would like to hang out with her. She seems like fun.
And yeah, I don't think we've had any more of these confirmed yet. But as an idea, yes, I'm very much into this. Just give creators their own little piece of Star Wars to slice out.
Yeah, just give them a little bit of Star Wars. There's room for everyone.
I'm a massive Visions fan, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, I love this. This looks really cool. So yeah, I support it.
We'll
I
move
hope they do
on.
more of them.
hmm Move on to the TV news next because
Yes.
it's interesting, but it's not really a reveal. Headline: Mando season 1 and 2 getting Blu Rays.
What? Well, it's news to me.
Disney decided that just having shows on streaming is a bad idea. So they're giving some shows lovely steelbox editions.
You know what? I'm all for that. I like that a lot. You hear so much these days about shows that just go missing from streaming sites.
Cough, cough, Willow, cough, cough.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I just like the fact that at least one streaming service is taking the responsibility to preserve shows. I know that Mando's a huge show, and the shows that usually quote unquote go
hmm
missing, the smaller ones and stuff like that. And maybe this sort of thing won't extend to it, but it's nice to at least see it being a thing that people are doing.
Okay, so on September 26th this year, we're getting Marvel Studios' Loki for complete first season.
Ooh.
On November 28th, we're getting Star Wars WandaVision for complete first season. On December
Oh,
1st, we're getting Mandalorian first season. And on December 12th, we're getting Mandalorian second season. And these are going to
nice.
cost, I think, £44 each. So,
Ooh.
bit on the expensive side.
Are they very fancy though?
Actually, I don't know how much TV costs. I don't know the last time I brought TV.
That's fair enough, to be honest.
I said
Yeah,
that,
I
but I'm
don't
going off
know.
like DVD prices of how much DVDs and Blu-rays cost.
Yeah,
Like
I mean the whole steelbook thing adds a bit on, and then there's the whole,
Mhm.
you know,
I'm not a big
we
steelbook
are.
fan usually, but
I quite like a steelbook. I usually only I buy games in steelbook sometimes. Like if I'm gonna get a fancy edition of a game, there's usually a steelbook in there, and I quite like it.
if you follow the link, you
Let's
can
have a
see
look.
these steelbooks, and I do want 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, they are pretty though. They are actually very nice. Yeah, the price is a little bit high for them, but they do look very, very nice quality. I don't know if I would get all of them. I'd be tempted to get the Loki one, I think, more than anything. I think the Loki one's cool.
Same, honestly, but we're both big Loki stands.
Yeah, we are big Loki stands. Yeah, I think the Loki one's pretty.
I believe it will come with any behind the scenes as well, but released on Disney Plus. So for Marvel Be Assembled, and for Mando
Ooh.
the gallery shorts, and I think they also come with extra disc-only special features.
Extras? Oh, now that is tempting.
Extras,
Extras. Well, if
extra,
I
extra.
may.
The last news article:
hmm
an old author returns. So this is the most recent news. We have had a new Star Wars book announced by
Ooh.
Jonathan Jackson Miller, who you may remember as the author of A New Dawn, the Kanan and Hera book we read.
Oh, yo! No way! That's really cool. How long's it been since he's written for Star Wars?
I think he does some short stories now and again, but his last novel was for Kanan and Hera one in 2014.
Whoa.
So 9 years
Oh,
on,
that's really cool.
10 years when it comes out, we're
Yeah.
getting his new book, The Living Force.
Ooh. Do we know anything about what it's about? Aside
Yep.
from being about the living force.
When you hear the title The Living Force, what are you thinking?
And now my brain's poisoned and I'm just thinking about Tom Baker.
So it's a story where in the High Republic, the Jedi have outposts all over the galaxy, and this story takes place just before Phantom Menace, where
hmm
the Council want to shut down one of these outposts, the last one there is, I believe, and Qui-Gon is opposed. And he manages to talk the whole Council into going on a field trip to this place.
Yo, road trip.
So it's going to be the whole Jedi Council around just before Phantom Menace, going out into the galaxy together.
To find like a High Republic outpost. That's really cool.
Yep, and Qui-Gon's going to be there, knowing better than everyone else.
Of course. Of course.
That's Qui-Gon's
Yeah, that
MO.
sounds sick. Yeah, it is. He's just like I would get so sick of him if I was on the council. I'd just be like, fucking Qui-Gon again. Here he is. He's so fucking saintly. It's like you can't do anything without Qui-Gon knowing better than you.
Yeah, but also, which other member of the council found the chosen one? That was all Qui-Gon, and it went really well.
I mean, on paper it sounds really good, doesn't it? It's just like, oh, Qui-Gon's found the chosen one, and then like you kind of you outlive the man for a while, and you're just like, oh, he actually fucked up really bad. He actually he was kind of faking it the whole time. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Listen, I would hate to besmirch the legacy of Qui-Gon Jinn, but also it's really funny to dunk on him a little bit. He's just such a serious little man, you know?
He has youth pastor vibes.
He does. Well, he is a youth pastor.
Kind of, I guess.
I mean, he goes around the galaxy with Anakin and Obi-Wan.
I mean, I wouldn't say he got a chance to go around the galaxy with Anakin.
I mean, he tried.
He kind of split before them.
Yeah. Oh, oof. Too soon. Too soon. But he tried. He did his best.
Are you ready to continue the story of Thrawn and his alliances?
Thrawn and his many alliances.
So this next bit takes place between Rebels season 3 and 4. So it's, let's double check. It's 2 BBY. So we're getting close to that BBY, you know, the Battle of Yavin.
BBY, yeah.
And we start off in Palp's office. Daddy's disappointed
Oh.
in both his loyal servants.
Oh no.
They're both in the office, looking up at him and his throne. And in the distance out the window is the Chimera. Usually, Star Destroyers aren't allowed into low orbit, but Palpatine wanted it there as a visual metaphor for both of them. That once Daddy gives you a toy, Daddy can just as easily take it away.
Oh fuck.
You see, Thrawn just had this big L against Rebels, and even though it wasn't his fault, if it was his fault, he'd be gone. But because it wasn't his fault, he's allowed a chance to redeem himself.
Yeah, he can live one more day.
Vader has those sneaky little Jedi memories coming back to him, and we can't have that now, can we? So he explains to both of them
Absolutely
that
not.
he's felt a disturbance in the Force, and while the rest of the Seventh Fleet, Thrawn's guys, are chasing down rebels, he's tasking Thrawn and the Chimera to take Vader to investigate this disturbance. And Thrawn's like, look, Vader can have a ship. He can have all the crew he wants. Let me get back after his rebels. Of course, I'm kind of livid, but I failed you. And Palpatine's like, oh, Thrawn, are you telling me you don't want to go within sight of your home? This disturbance is on the edge of the unknown regions. So maybe you'll see someone you know out there. It's coming from a planet called Batu. And he instantly feels recognition from both men. He's like, haha, the perfect test has begun. Thrawn will face his future, and Vader his past.
Vader.
Now leave my minions.
That's the best part of your Palpatine impression was Vader.
Vader.
Vader. You know, I was wishing for another adventure with the two himbos, but well, a himbo and Thrawn, and we're kind of getting it in a way. So you know, hey.
So if you go to the second cover,
That I will, yeah.
you'll get the Imperial era.
Ho ho! See there, Thrawn. He's in his nice lovely white uniform now. He's got 2 pens in his. No, he's got 4 pens in his pockets. Holy shit! Wait, his hand's got 4 pens.
They're code cylinders. They're how you open doors and things.
He looks like he's got 4 pens on him. It's really funny.
And to risk Anakin calling him gay, as Vader and Thrawn leave his office, Palpatine's like, "Oh, they do look awful nice together. One of them wearing white, one of them wearing black."
Wait, does he actually say that? What the fuck?
Yeah,
Does Palpatine ship them?
yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, personally, I
It's a
ship Thrawn and
revelation.
Sabine, but that's just me.
That's fair. That's just you. Yeah, of course. Of course.
So the two go up to the Chimera. They go into hyperspace, and here's just a little reminder of the Chimera's crew. So right now we have Commodore Pharaoh, who was Thrawn's second in command in the end of the first book, and she's recently been promoted to Commodore, promised her own command of her own little fleet, and it's been weeks since it's been confirmed, and she still hasn't been given her own ships, and she's still working for Thrawn, so she's a bit let out. And especially after that guy, what was his name? Eli Vanto disappeared without any trace, and no one knows what happened to him. She's kind of fearing a bit. There's Lieutenant Hamley, who was also in the first book.
I remember this person because I was like, Lieutenant who?
She is the Senate officer.
She me?
And there is Rook, who is Thrawn's ape-like Nogri bodyguard. He has this little cloaking device, and he enjoys messing with Vader stormtroopers of the First Legion by sneaking onto their ship without them knowing how, and but there's a little rivalry going on between him and Commander Keenan, the 4th stormtrooper to lead Vader's First Legion, and he's a big boy stormtrooper.
He's a big boy stormtrooper. He is the Captain Phasmariest of these troopers.
You could say that. And the Star Destroyer is going nice on its way to Batuu, when suddenly it's not, and it's been ripped out of hyperspace, far away from its destination.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
They do a little search, and nothing's found wrong with the ship. And Pharaoh assures Vader that there's nothing wrong with it, so he goes, "So the crew are to blame." And Thrawn steps in and is like, no, there's obviously some unknown mass out there messing with us. And someone suggests maybe there's a gravity well projector. And Thrawn's like, "No, you idiot. You can't run a gravity well projector and a cloaking device at the same time. That would use too much energy.
You fucking clown."
Ah, you idiots. Based on the art of the gravity well projectors, I can tell that... And he wants to move along, and he warns them to look out for any incoming ships, although it wasn't busy when he was here in the Clone Wars. And Commander Pharaoh goes, Oh, Grand Admiral, I didn't realise you were here in the Clone Wars, but it doesn't matter. Leave the past in the past. Ignore this conversation. Let's move on with our lives. And the ship moves 2 hours in real space before they try to jump again, and it doesn't work. So instead of just pushing forward, using a bunch of smaller jumps which would take time, Pharaoh suggests that instead they go to another nearby system, which is a route to. It's not well travelled, but it exists, and they can jump to Batuu from there. And she's like, "Look, it will save us around 15 hours." And Vader comes in and he's like, 11 hours. Okay. And Thrawn agrees. And Vader's kind of like, did this person just talk back to their commander? Thrawn ordered a bunch of smaller jumps, and then she goes, "No, you should do this instead." She's right, but that was talking back, and no, Thrawn, you're not going to discipline her? Okay, we're... So they go on the new route, and they end up at the planet Mokivja, which is a lifeless world covered in deserts and wastelands where forests once were.
Huh, I wonder why.
Thrawn and Pharaoh look down, and they can't work out what's happened there, and Vader's just there keeping quiet. And Thrawn asks Emily to check how many moons there are. When he asks this, she goes, "Moons, sir?" And Vader gives her a look, and she goes, "Yep, moons, checking." And she finds that there's 6 moons, one of which is round, where there should be 10 moons, with 4 of them being round. And Thrawn says we should investigate this. But Vader's like, "Nope, that's not our job. We have to get to Batuu and check this disturbance.
Let's not worry about this."
Just keep moving." And thinking about how Hamley talked back to Thrawn, he again didn't discipline her. This is a quote from a book. Vader mentally shakes his head in contempt.
That's kind of adorable. I kind of want to pat him on the head, you know?
Oh, also some details I haven't brought up yet, but I should mention. First of all, in this, there are multiple times when Vader hooks his thumbs in his belt. That's something they mention a lot. And when Anakin was in battle in the Clone Wars sections, he uses a force power called Double Vision, which allows him to see a second in the future. And that's kind of how it's written that Jedi can deflect blasts and things. They get a glimpse of it of a blast hitting, and then they know where to block.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty sick, actually. But I do need to circle back to Vader like putting his thumbs in Lee's waistband, and I'm like, this was already kind of homoerotic, like just based on the first half.
I know
It's not getting any
I know
better.
it's not meant that way, but it kind of sounds like he has thumb holsters just ready for whenever he wants to stand there with his thumbs hooked in.
He has 2 little thumb holsters. Oh no, that's so cute. It's just little spots for his little thummies.
So they hit hyperspace again, and they get to Batuu. And above Batuu, Thrawn suggests that Vader him go to ground alone. And Vader kind of like, won't I be recognised? And Thrawn's like, look, babes.
Babe.
You may be known in the centre of a core galaxy, but on the outskirts here, you're a lot less recognisable. I think we can just pass you off. And Vader's like, well, you better change then, because even though they may not recognise your uniform, they'll recognise it as a uniform. Go dress up as scum. I already was going to.
They're doing the thing.
I was already going to. And
they're doing the thing.
And while this is happening, Keeman and his First Legion appear on the bridge, and Pharaoh's kind of terrified there's going to be a coup at any moment, and is very relieved when Vader agrees to Thrawn's plan. They travel down to the planet in Thrawn's junk fighter from the first book. Remember he had that kind of ship he stole from the smugglers?
Yeah.
And there's a very tight space, and Thrawn wants to circle around and see if there's another one, but Vader just lands it in there just fine. And there are 6 other ships here, plus 3 buildings, which we weren't over last time they were in town. And Thrawn notices a communication triad, some kind of unknown regions communication beacon, which has 3 points, one of which was hidden in a tree, one in one of the new buildings, and one in a derelict ship. It's transmitting into the unknown regions. The two get on a speeder and travel into town, and they kind of hope that the bartender will recognise Thrawn and help give them information. In orbit, 4 new ships enter, and they all head towards Blackspire. Then 2 more come in, and Pharaoh looks at them and works out how long it will take them to get to the outpost. And she decides that she won't call Thrawn yet because he doesn't like being interrupted when there's nothing to learn. But when things change or we have more information, she will contact Thrawn.
I'm just imagining like her going to contact Thrawn over some pointless shit and then adding in like a fun fact at the end. Just so he's learned something and he doesn't get annoyed.
He's that kind of person.
Yeah, he's just that kind of guy.
As they ride into town, Thrawn kind of explains to Vader why the unknown regions are hard to travel. Explaining there are a few like calamities out there, like natural calamities, which cause giant masses to just travel randomly around.
Of course.
You can't do normal hyperspace routes because the masses are always changing, and you could always just fly into something.
Too chaotic.
The Chiss actually call the unknown region the Chaos, so yes.
Ah, there we go.
And as they go into town, they realise that there's a lot of these creatures called Darshi around. And Thrawn calls them a border people who are not known to be violent. Vader finds this weird because they're these creatures with long claws and thin bodies. He kind of thinks that they've been made to be predators, you know? And they each hold these daggers on them, which Thrawn looks at and he's like, well, they're obviously ceremonial if you look at the embossing on the...
I really want him to be wrong about this. I think it'd be really funny if one of them just went up and stabbed him. I think you'll find all of their daggers are ceremonial, and then just one of them just goes up and just Stabbed him.
Vader and Thrawn walk into the bar, and they're both instantly stared down by Darshi, although they're not quite sure whether they're surprised to see a chiss or surprised to see this giant black figure. They go to the bar, they recognise the bartender, who is now known as Nodlia, but was Leb Jiao. He's changed his name so that, people who are angry about his planet being destroyed can't attack him. He recognises Thrawn, and he's like, oh god, please tell me the other guy isn't with you again.
Bitch.
And Thrawn's like, no, don't worry. I have been told that he's dead. Nodlia's like,
whether I believe it or not is another story.
Nodlia's like, cool, good. Well, these Darshi guy, they've brought into Batuu aggressively. They brought most of the good real estate. They brought all the resources. A new group of them arrived recently, and they had 10 coffins. And
10 coffins.
I just don't trust them. They're gentrifying Batuu, and that's when Vader
that's the real
warns
villain.
that he can sense 10 of them getting. He can sense the ones in the bar getting combat sticks ready, and that's when Thrawn gets a message from Pharaoh, warning that a pair of large ships are coming towards them, or 5 ships are leaving the planet. Vader wants the Chimera to attack, but Thrawn is less sure. So Vader's like, look, you control the Chimera. I control the First Legion. Let Commander Keeman take his ship and attack. And Pharaoh has to leave the Dark Hawk, the First Legion ship, which is an old Separatist ship, leave a Chimera to go and intervene, and Thrawn gives Pharaoh authority to make her own calls on the upcoming skirmish. And I just think it's nice for all the Darshi. We're getting the combat sticks ready, but let this call happen before they attacked.
You're right. Also, Thrawn's read on them was wrong, right? They're like, let's get the combat sticks out. Yeah, the name combat sticks implies that they are inherently violent.
He said that they're not known that they're not known to be violent.
They're not known to be violent, and yet he didn't pick up on the fact that they are carrying things that are called combat sticks.
Hey, they have ceremonial daggers. Only the ones in the bar have combat sticks.
Okay, alright.
You're going too hard on Thrawn here.
No, I'm sorry. I forgot. It's just the bar Darshi that have combat sticks. I forgot about that. That's an important context.
And note that they are using their combat sticks and not their daggers. Daggers sound a lot more deadly than sticks, and yet they are not using them, which suggests.
Suggests what?
But they have some kind of cultural significance, possibly even ceremonial.
The ceremonial combat sticks.
No, the ceremonial daggers are probably ceremonial because they're not being used.
Sticks.
Yeah,
the daggers are ceremonial, but what? No, hang on. The daggers are ceremonial. What about the combat sticks? The combat sticks are clearly not ceremonial, i.e., they are used practically for combat.
I mean, maybe if you let me get to the fight, they will be.
Alright, okay, let's do this.
While we've been having this disagreement, Vader's been thinking, man, I miss the Clone Wars, I miss the good fights. These rebels never put up a real fight. But hopefully these guys... And then Thrawn goes, Vader, have you noticed they're using a kind of tongue-clicking code? But it's like, I was getting really hyped up for a battle, and now you're using, weird logic stuff on me. And Thrawn's like, we need prisoners, Vader. We need to interrogate them. Don't kill them.
For fuck's sake.
And Vader's like, okay.
Vader can't have shit in this house anymore.
Okay. You don't want me to kill them. I will make it my mission to kill none of them. How's that for you? And Thrawn takes a bottle from the bar, he starts shaking up, and he smashes the neck, spewing alcohol into the eyes of his attackers so he can have the advantage. Vader lets a few of them get hits in so they get close, and then just starts hitting them with the hilt of his lightsaber.
I really want to see this as a fully realised image. Just Vader bonking people.
In the middle of a fight, Vader feels the anomaly in the Force, and is suddenly hit with this presence of anxiety. An explosion goes off for distance, and the anxiety turns to fear. Then a second explosion goes off. Thrawn suggests that a transport's been attacked, but Vader instead says it was the 3 new houses in the landing platform. That causes Thrawn to look shocked, but he gets his composure out after a second, just as a swarm of insects appear out of nowhere and start flying towards them.
Never good.
Blaster and lightsaber do little to them, and as they fly into Vader, they kind of explode and turn into this concrete substance, like turn to rock.
Oh.
And Vader
Oh.
realizes
That's
they're being
weird.
attacked by creatures which have cloaking devices like rooks.
Huh.
And yeah, when a second swarm comes out, Thrawn's quick to shoot where it came from, and sure enough, a dead Darshi falls to the ground. 2 more swarms. Vader warns that there are 3 more Darshi out there as 2 more swarms attack. Thrawn shoots the ceiling, getting dust to fall down and obscuring everyone's vision. So a swarm of insects hit Vader. The remaining Darshi become visible, and feeling confident, they swagger up towards Vader, thinking he's encased. But it turns out, under the cover of the dust, he put his cape over one of his arms, manages to knock it off, gets his lightsaber, and just kills the remaining attackers. He then uses his lightsaber to free himself from Thrawn enough to move, noting that he'll have to swap his armor when he gets back to his ship. Luckily, he always carries a spare.
Good Vader lore.
Thrawn takes a moment to look at the Darshi's knives, and warns the bartender not to have her bodies moved. And then him and Vader leave after the disturbance. On the Dark Hawk,
They needed them alive.
yeah, there are still, yeah. But then they attacked with bugs, and Vader gave up.
Well, when you attack with bugs, it's game over, really, isn't it?
It's game over, man.
It's game over, man.
On the Dark Hawk, they're moving in on the escaping freighter, trying to stop it before it escapes back to its atmosphere, with the help of Volt Scaris, Thrawn's star pilot, and a TIE Defender. So Thrawn in this time period is really against the Death Star project. He thinks it's a waste of resources. He's like, look, Palp, I know you like this idea of this big moon, but what if instead we made TIE fighters that actually work? What if we made a TIE fighter, made it faster, we gave it decent weapons, we gave it a shield so pilots didn't die every time they get into one. They're more expensive to make, but they're better to fly. And he's just using every opportunity to kind of show off their power. So this guy flies in and just disables the hyperdrive on the freighter, leaving it for First Legion to board. Just before boarding, a pair of stormtroopers find Rook on the Dark Hawk, sneaking on again, and Keeman tells them to watch over him during the assault, warning the Nogri that if he tries to escape, he'll shoot his own 2 men, and then it will be Rook that has to explain it to Vader. Kind of like, if you mess with me, I will get Vader to kill you.
Basically, yeah. It's using Vader as like an attack dog.
If I kill you, Thrawn will tell me off. If Vader kills you, then, Thrawn can't do shit.
Thrawn cannot do shit at that point. No, you're correct.
The First Legion fly over through the ship. They get held back at the door to the cargo bay. Getting a glimpse inside, one of the troopers thinks they saw an explosive being placed. And Keeman quickly asks Scaris if he can come back and blow the cargo hatch from the outside and attempt to save the cargo. At this point, a second freighter is leaving the planet, and Keeman has to make a choice. Either let Scaris go after that and stop it escaping, or try and save this cargo. He takes a pause to think, and orders Scaris to come help him out here, and as Scaris comes towards them, they hear an explosion, and the cargo has been destroyed.
Oh, fuck.
At that point, it's too late, and the second freighter manages to get away.
Ah, tits.
And Keeman gets the feeling that the First Legion may be about to get its 5th commander. Back on the surface, the gruesome twosome get back to the 3 houses, finding 2 destroyed, and the disturbance in the Force gone. Vader accuses Thrawn of stalling. He asks about his loyalty, and Thrawn replies that if Anakin Skywalker was here, he'd be able to cover for him. That Anakin Skywalker, he saw me, I promised him that I'd help, and I didn't leave. They go into the third remaining house, they find some used beds, they find 10 cylinders, but not that they could hold bodies. Thrawn asks if they're cloning chambers, and Vader replies that they're too small, and Thrawn asks for a couple of them to be taken back to the Chimera for examination, to look at the Dashi again. You got to keep looking at those daggers.
Yeah, you got it. And
Go back to
combat
the
sticks,
bar.
don't forget those.
Combat sticks don't matter, Emily. We've moved on from them.
Fucking combat sticks.
I wish I never mentioned the combat sticks.
Right? Well, that's in the text. What can I say? You're just reporting the text as it is. You're naught but a storyteller.
Adding a bit of homophobia for Anakin.
Just a little bit.
As they drive back to town, Thrawn calls for Chimera and finds out the First Legion have captured 3 prisoners. And that, from what they could tell, the cargo on the freighter was a large cylinder. Thrawn gets Keeman added to the call, and now in the group chat he shows a picture of one of the cylinders on Batuu, and asks if it's the same one Keeman saw. Keeman says he doesn't think so. So Thrawn asks if Rook managed to get a better look. And Keeman's like furious that Thrawn knew that the Nogri was going to try and sneak onto their ship and go into their mission. Although Pharaoh thinks, if Rook was allowed to go on a mission, it may have ended differently.
Maybe.
Thrawn then asks that when the prisoners are taken back to the Chimera, that they're kept away from viewports until right next to it. Then put near the window so they can have their reactions to the Star Destroyer recorded. Back at the bar, the body's been taken, and Vader starts to choke the bartender. Seeing Mordashi in the corner, Thrawn asks Vader to grab one of the knives, and Vader just kind of laughs and then pulls 3 of the knives towards him. Thrawn just catches one as if it's nothing, and Vader catches the other 2. Thrawn points out differences between these knives and the ones where attackers had earlier.
Just to specify, these are the knives that aren't ceremonial. The other ones are definitely ceremonial.
He points out that these ones have more ornate designs, suggesting family heritage.
Oh fuck, they're more ceremonial.
Whereas the ones the attackers had earlier didn't have the ornate designs, suggesting their placeholder. He suggests that the Dashi that attacked them had their original knives taken away, and were using these replacements to try and hide their shame and their culture.
Huh.
Thrawn then shows a bartender an image of an alien, one of the ones the First Legion have taken prisoner. The bartender confirms that they were here talking to the Dashi earlier, and they're the ones who brought the black cylinders to the planet. Thrawn identifies them as Grisk, vicious warriors from the unknown regions. Thrawn then leaves the bartender a coin as him and Vader leave. On their journey back to the Chimera, Thrawn is looking at art and starts quizzing Vader on what they've learned. Vader tells him that the pods are probably hibernation capsules, and the Grisk were the masterminds behind it all. He then asks Thrawn if he already knew the prisoners were Force sensitive, and Thrawn replies that it's not something the Chiss speak of, which annoys Vader. A servant of the Empire shouldn't have secrets. And Vader will prove that he's not as far behind Thrawn as the Chiss thinks in terms of thinking.
Okay, Vader, you go.
Back on the Chimera, Thrawn orders to return to the Batuu hyperspace lane where they originally got dragged out of hyperspace. And he thinks they now have the tools to work out the root of the anomaly. On the captured freighter inside the Star Destroyer, Scarus and Keeman tell their superiors about the ships that escaped. That it was one freighter and a fighter escort which seemed to have limited weapons. Thrawn thinks they interrupted a delivery job, with the freighter meant to distribute one of the capsules to each of the fighters, and comments that while stories say that the Grisk are nomadic, he doesn't believe it, based on their art's preference for ground and sky to the darkness of space. Keeman also says the Grisks look surprised when they saw the Star Destroyer, and Vader says this backs up Thrawn's theory, that if they were nomadic, they'd be used to seeing big ships, to which Thrawn replies, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Keeman then asks why Thrawn is making the Grisk an enemy to the Empire. Thrawn assures him that he warned Palpatine of threats in the unknown region, and the reason the Emperor promoted him was to deal with them. He then tells everyone that when they arrive at the anomaly, they'll have their answers. Out of the disturbance, Thrawn keeps getting the Chimera to jump away, then jump back from different angles, trying to do some maths. After 4 attempts, Vader has had enough and questions Thrawn's loyalty, and Thrawn asks for Sith's trust. Vader thinks about how the Jedi once didn't trust him when he was Anakin Skywalker, and how that lack of trust led to, well, yeah. Vader agrees to give him
Oh,
1 more hour before answers are needed.
bro, why am I sad about Vader right now?
Because he's just trying to make Dad proud.
He is. He's just trying to make Dad proud. Oh, sad.
After 4 more attempts, Thrawn was still at it, and wanting to go for a 9th. But Vader had had enough. He once again accused Thrawn of treason due to his split loyalties, and when Thrawn smiles, Vader gets annoyed and demands explanation. I've been judged a lot during my time in the Empire, for being an alien, being an outsider, for rising the ranks too quickly. Never has someone accused me of being loyal. In fact, I thank you.
Oh,
It's like a weird flex. Weird flex for him.
it is kind of a weird flex. It is, but I can't help but just be like, oh.
He asks Vader for one last jump, one last attempt to enter the area, and after that he'll reveal all, or they can leave. And Vader agrees, one last time. When they hit real space, Thrawn finishes his maths and orders the Chimera to shoot a specific spot, causing a device to appear. A joint gravity well uncloaking device.
Oh.
The device Thrawn called Vader an idiot for suggesting could exist, now exists. Thrawn realizes that when the gravity well powers up when a ship gets caught by it, it causes a power surge, which the device then relays into the cloaking device, allowing it to quickly swap between in the time it takes a ship to actually materialize in real space.
That is kind of cool.
Vader, still being on the attack, accuses Thrawn of only wanting to clear this hyperspace route, but when the time comes, he can get to his own people's aid faster. And Thrawn admits that that's one of his thoughts. He then continues that for now, the Grisk are a threat to them both, and asks Vader to stick with him, just like he stuck with Anakin Skywalker in the Clone Wars, even after finishing his own job.
Oh no, why is so much bonding happening? Oh.
Based on how oddly specific that one thing is, Vader has a moment of fear, thinking that Palpatine may have told Thrawn his secrets. But he's like, no. The bond between master and apprentice is sacred. Palp would never do that to me. It's just a coincidence that Thrawn said that very specific thing.
Just a coincidence, of course. These two really need to go and kill Palpatine.
Thrawn then has a plan to get the location of the Grisk base, and they get to work. In Thrawn's smuggler shuttle again, the First Legion are pulled out of hyperspace and attacked by a Grisk ship. As the Grisk start boarding, Keenan puts on his stormtrooper armor, and sure enough, they break through the door, and the First Legion are ready to attack, with the help of Vader. This time, no cargo or data is destroyed. They bring the ship in intact, with a full 17 prisoners. Vader works out that the prisoners from above Batuu weren't shocked by the Chimera's size, but because they'd already seen it before, and they didn't expect it to get to Batuu as quickly as it did. Thrawn looks over at the Grisk's trophy collection in their ship, and sees some of the spoils have been defaced. Thrawn deduces the amount of damage shows the resent the Grisk half of the race, and using stories of Grisk history, he hopes to locate the Grisk homeworld. Vader looks at it and is like, it seems to be chronological as well, with the earliest ones having most damage and the later ones having the least. And, Thrawn's looking for species he identifies the art of, which he can then place in Chiss history to then locate where it is in the chaos, to then try and work out where a Grisk base could be.
Yeah, that's classic Thrawn shit. It's about the art.
Vader asks if they'll then attack the homeworld, and Thrawn assures him he won't, until the local base is found and the prisoners freed. Thrawn tries to hide behind the Emperor again, saying, the Emperor's will, unknown regions, might be able to protect him. And he says, look, Vader, if you go along with me a bit longer, I'll let you hear half the truth now and half later. Thrawn then calls Pharaoh to let her know more prisoners are being brought in, but he wants to keep them separate from the original group, so he asks her to prep the starboard ready block. which is a place TIE fighter pilots usually get ready, swerved out of their bed into a different bed, which happens to be the ones the First Legion were in. So now the First Legion are being kicked out of their beds, and some of them decide to just sleep in the Dark Hawk, including Commander Keeman, Sergeant Axon, and the pilot Tefan. And they're on the Dark Hawk complaining about the move, and Keeman, he's got this growing respect for Thrawn. He likes how on the bridge it's kind of like an open space to think, no one's idea is wrong. How everyone pulls their weights and there's not many slackers around. And from the stories he's heard, any slackers who are on the ship don't stay long. And he's kind of thinking that, you know, with people rising up like ranks under Thrawn, soon this kind of command could be the Imperial norm. And he's like, wow, as long as nothing happens to Thrawn within the next few years, the Empire could become unstoppable.
As long as nothing happens, I don't know what happens to Thrawn. I'm hoping that nothing happens to Thrawn, and this isn't just a foreshadow.
With his troops bitching, Keeman's like, look, these are unknown aliens. We couldn't really just walk them through an Imperial Star Destroyer in the numbers we have. Thrawn made the right choice to put them, and that's when he hears a noise from inside the ship.
Oh no, the call's coming from inside the ship.
Grabbing some gear, Keeman moves through the ship and runs into the Gris prisoners trying to steal the Dark Hawk. Putting up a defense, 3 against 17, things aren't looking good. Especially when Axon went down. Luckily, sneaking on through his secret entrance, Rook enters cloaked and starts attacking from the back and saves the day.
Nice one, Rook.
Having like a moment to breathe before the rest of the Grisk arrive, Keeman asks Rook what he's doing here, and Rook's like, look, as we need help. This is your ship, so I will listen to your command. I'm not gonna piss around anymore. And they buddy managed to take down the rest of the Grisk, even getting 4 alive as prisoners again.
Hey!
So out of the 17, 4 survived.
I mean, that's pretty good.
A bit later, Thrawn is defending Keeman's actions to Vader. You see, this was all a plan. They put the Grisk in the Star Ready block, in the hopes they'd try and steal a ship, put in the locations of their base, and then they'd be stopped. Sadly, the Grisk got greedy and tried to go after the Dark Hawk, and due to Vader's wanting to keep the plan secret, none of the First Legion were told. And Thrawn's like, well, you can't really blame your soldiers for being too good at their jobs.
He's got a point.
Thrawn also looks for silver linings, like how they now know that the enemy all have fake teeth where they keep tools. And they have some kind of unknown communication system, which was active for 2 minutes. Standing in the Dark Hawk, he turns to Pharaoh, and he asks her what kind of information she could give someone else in 2 minutes. And, you know, Vader's there. She was just expecting to be an observer. She's like panicking under the stress. But she also knows that Thrawn does everything for a reason. And looking around her, she sees the Dark Hawk. She's like, oh, in 2 minutes, I could tell someone how to get to this ship. And like what it looks like. And Thrawn's like, but could you tell someone in 2 minutes how to pilot it? She thinks, no, I couldn't. Using this, Thrawn goes, they recognise this ship as a prize, which suggests they've seen this kind of ship before. In this area, where do you think they would have seen a separatist ship? It is like, oh my god. I hate how the Force does this thing where it kind of like, it rhymes and things mirror. And I get the vibe of going back to Mokivja.
He's like, oh fucking hell, I hate the Force sometimes.
Thrawn's like, are you ready to go back there? Go back? You're the only one who has been there before. No one else on the ship has been there. Just you. What do you mean?
You're doing a great job.
They arrive above Mokivja, in the middle of a moon being stolen. Vader's like, how are they doing this? And Thrawn's like, I don't really know, but it's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool.
And Thrawn uses Vader to try and sense where the prisoners are. Vader sends that most of them on the planet and a couple are on the ships around the moon. So Thrawn is ready to give Pharaoh command of the battle while he goes down to the surface, but Vader stops him, pulling rank. He says the Chiss will command the space battle, while the Sith commands the ground. On the planet's surface, Vader leads the stormtroopers into the service tunnels underneath the factory, heading to the east wing where he knows the Grisk base is.
Mm-hmm.
He realizes the prisoners are Chiss and Force sensitive, giving him the same sense as Thrawn's pilots years ago. Vader was fearing that there could be Chiss Jedi or Chiss Sith, some new horror from the unknown region.
His worst nightmare.
But then the minds he's sensing start to go quiet again. He realizes they're being put back into the hibernation pods, and he hurries. Keeman's surprised at how accurate Vader's description of the factory is. He's like, wow, that interrogation must have gone really well. Like, he knows these tunnels like he's been here before. It's weird. Using his lightsaber, Vader cuts open the trapdoor, and then using the Force, he lifts his troopers up one by one into the middle of a battle of the Grisk. Vader jumps through and joins, and the Grisks use their insect weapons, which Keeman is happy about. He's like, yep, this is all going to plan. On the heads-up display, one of the other First Legion guys marks off where the insects start from, and the other stormtroopers just start shooting, killing all the hidden Grisk easily.
Pew, pew, pew.
Vader encased in stone, not able to move. The Grisks feel confident and start moving in. And that's when Vader jumps from the floor.
Whoa!
That's right. He was moving his empty suit, his spare suit, like it had him in it, but really, he is still under the floorboards. And now,
So
they've used their insects, and he's ready. It's almost like all that practice moving corpses has paid off. It rhymes.
Hell, I can't believe it rhymes. I can't believe that's been brought back.
As Vader does the damage, Keeman manages to find the prisoners, protected by two Grisks, which are quickly dispatched. Prisoners revealed to be Chiss. Children? All girls.
Oh.
One of them points to 3 closed hibernation pods. They start working out an extraction, getting the kids and pods to the courtyard Vader described. In space, all the Grisk ships are hugging the moon. Pharaoh's original assessment is that they still want to escape with it, but after some prompting from Thrawn, she realizes the truth. The prisoners are worth more than the moon. But the ship with them on is stuck in the moon's gravity well for now, still trying to activate its hyperdrive. And this is a time when, you couldn't use hyperspace in atmosphere, like in some Star Wars is. When I think of the sequels, I think about how they broke hyperspace. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about how The Force Awakens had them use hyperspace in atmosphere. Wow, I can't believe JJ ruined Star Wars canon in that way. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Oh fuck! Oh no! I need to. I'm sorry, Sam. I can't podcast anymore. I need to go. I have to leave. Oh god,
you
I'm
okay?
getting more flashbacks. I must go.
You actually scared me then.
Did you think that I was actually in trouble? Sorry.
I thought you were going to be like, oh no, it's my bedtime. Or, oh no, my mum's been hit by a car. Or...
No, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at my mum being hit by a car. It's just the absurdity of the situation. Oh fuck. I tell jokes sometimes in a really serious voice. It's actually a problem that I have, and people are always just like, "Why the fuck are you doing that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I use my serious voice. I'm sorry."
It's called autism.
That's entirely probable, actually.
Okay.
Moving on from those vibes.
The ship is still stuck in the moon's gravity well, powering up its hyperdrive. See, this is from a time in Star Wars canon when you couldn't use hyperdrives from an atmosphere. When I think of a sequel, I think of how a fucking... Oh, wait, no, we're done about that.
It didn't end well, let's not go back there.
Not wanting to give away which of the ships has the prisoners on board, they're all staying close until the hyperdrive is ready. The Grisks can escape with their prize. Thrawn sends in TIE defenders while Hammerly tries to look for an outlier in the Grisk array. Sadly, before the TIE defenders get close, a ship escapes gravity well and makes a run for it. Thrawn asks that all the remaining Grisk ships are destroyed. When Pharaoh asks about prisoners, Thrawn says they don't need any. He then asks for Vader to meet him in his quarters as soon as possible. A room for children was set up near Thrawn's room, and as one of the kids speaks Cybisti, they're left in the care of an assistant maintenance tech officer who could also speak the trade language. In his office, Vader again accuses Thrawn of treason and lying, but Thrawn denies. Vader
Treason
asks if
and
the Emperor
also
knew.
lying.
The two, but don't worry. Vader then asks if the Emperor knows anything of the children, and Thrawn says no, although he assumes the Emperor does know it. Thrawn then tells Vader the biggest secret in the Chiss Ascendancy. We know that unknown regions are hard to travel, meaning that most species stay in their own systems. The Chiss like to know what goes on in these worlds, so it has spies everywhere, even on the edge of the Empire. As there are no nav computers to calculate the chaos, the Chiss rely on something else. Force sensitives, although they call the Force third sight. Using the Force to see the future, they can pilot ships better than a nav computer. In the Chiss, the gift comes young and fades with age, and for some reason is a lot more prevalent in females. This is the Chiss's secret to success. And now it's
Child
known
exploitation.
the kid's stolen. Yep.
Oh, fuck.
It's a great honor to serve. It's a great honor to serve your military,
It feels iffy. Feels iffy, bro.
Child soldiers in my Star Wars?
Never. That's never happened once. There's no child soldiers in my Star Wars. Not a single one. I can't think of any of them.
With the kids stolen, Thrawn wants to save the girls before more Ogres come to extract them. He suggests a mission into the unknown regions, but this is Vader's line. This is a Chiss mission that Vader can't use Imperial resources on. Thrawn shoots back that the Grisk are a threat, especially as the Emperor wants to extend his power into the unknown regions. Then has the shocked realization that he said too much.
Ooh.
Vader wasn't meant to know that the Emperor wants to go into the unknown regions. Thrawn promises Vader proof that the Grisk are a threat to the Empire, if he only continues to trust, and Vader notes that the alien asks for a lot of trust. But he's also often right, and the Emperor does trust him. Vader gives the mission his blessing, but Thrawn needs more than that. He needs Vader's help.
Aww. Team up.
Sitting at the bridge controls, Vader explains that what he wants from Vader is for him to use his double vision to fly like a Chiss. He wants him to look into the chaos, link to the minds of the kids on their ship, and take them to the Chiss ship, take them to the Grisk base on the edges of the unknown regions. Vader asks why the kids can't do this job, and Thrawn explains that the Grisk are using the kids to navigate, and if they want to arrive first, they need someone stronger. They need Vader. Vader agrees and takes the seat, and Thrawn laughs. Vader queries why, and Thrawn explains that the Chiss children who have this job are given a specific title. Skywalkers.
Oh, fuck.
This is why Thrawn was confused when he first met Anakin Skywalker.
Well, damn.
The Chimera hits hyperspace, and Vader feels upcoming threats and readjusts.
Sorry, I was just letting that wash over me for a minute.
I love the Chiss lore in this book.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's one of those things that I always find, like a bunch of people who are like, Rey shouldn't have remade the Jedi, she should have made a new order called Skywalkers. I find that idea very cringe. But like,
yeah, I think
you do the
that's
same
cringe.
thing, but you're like, oh no, it's an unknown species of aliens who have called it this for years, and it's just a coincidence that they share Anakin's name. I'm like, ooh, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good. I'm not against Rey remaking a New Order. I would prefer for Rey to make a New Order. It's just the whole Skywalker thing that's a bit like the. But like, I mean, Rey Skywalker versus like this is definitely like the more impactful and cooler thing as well. Because
Rey
it's
should
just
forget
like
Jedi
it's just
and make a new order called the Jamble Totters.
Fuck yeah, let's go. Let's go. I
I'm a
expect
Jamble
to see it
Totter,
in cinema.
like my father before me.
Who are we
Directed by
kidding?
Zack Snyder.
None of you kids have dads. Why the fuck are you here?
And you're a nobody, and you're a nobody, and you're a nobody, and you're a solo. Sure, why not? Why
Yeah,
are you
sure,
so
why
low?
not? And you're
Because you have nobody, kid.
who are your people? And you're a nobody, and you're but not to me. Oh no, does this count as breaking the streak again?
I think we always break the streak.
Yeah, that's fair. We didn't have a streak, but I mean, like we haven't created one again. I think that's probably close enough.
Arriving at the destination, Vader wakes up in the Chimera's helm on an empty bridge, which is good, as Vader would have killed anyone who saw him in that state. Thrawn informs him that everyone else is prepping for an attack. There are 2 ships already here waiting. Thrawn asks Vader to go over Dark Hawk into battle, but Vader doesn't want to. He still feels that this is Thrawn working for the Chiss and not the Empire. But Thrawn is so confident the Emperor won't be angry, Vader ends up agreeing, as long as he can change the plan. Vader is not too hopeful about the attack, as the 2 ships already here are almost as big as the Chimera. Each. But through cultural blind spots, Thrawn knows they can win. As the ship from Mokija arrives, Vader sends the Dark Hawk in with Ty's flying escort. The Dark Hawk manages to connect to the ship with the prisoners, and while the stormtroopers attack from the front, Rook uses his cloaking device to get to her back. Using a 2-pronged attack, they get rid of the first wave.
Rook really is the MVP of all of these fights.
Rook, smelling Chiss, leads the way through the ship. Rook is another guy from Legends. He's like another one of the characters.
Really? Oh, yo, I don't know. Oh. He really is like he seems to just like be like, well, okay, let's do some work, and then he just like kind of runs the entire fight.
He's one of those weird ones where, like, in canon he hasn't got. I'm not sure we have in Legends, but in canon he hasn't got a moment when he just turns up. He's just not in Rebel Season 3, then he's in this book, then he's in Rebel Season 4, then he's in nothing again ever. Just appears, but is gone.
Oh. Justice for Rook.
Where's my Rook origin story? Where's Rook a Star Wars story?
Rook a Star Wars story. It'd probably be good.
The other 2 ships powering up, Thrawn sends 3 squadrons of TIE fighters in 3 waves. He tells Wave 2 to be the ones to start shooting, which confuses Pharaoh, but Thrawn assures him there's a theory he wants to test. One of the Grist ships opens up and sends 2 light cruisers in a scattered pair. Thrawn calls for 2 squadrons of TIE defenders to be ready, just before the first wave of TIE fighters within range. The Grist start shooting. Only at the first wave. The second wave then starts shooting at the nearest of the 2 transports, and Thrawn calls off the assault, getting all the TIE fighters to start returning back. His theory approved, he deploys 2 squadrons of TIE defenders to help out. He then explains to Pharaoh what he's just learned. See, he had a theory that the Grisk always see the closest enemy as the biggest threat, whether that's true or not. By having the first wave of TIE fighters not attack and the second wave to be attacking, and the Grisk attack the first wave, not the second wave, he's confirmed that theory is correct. And also, by having the TIE fighters only attack the nearest of the 2 freighters, he's confirmed that bias for them, which he views as a weakness. He also notes how the Grisk weapons, despite their long range, didn't start shooting until just before the TIE fighters were in range, which suggests that they've been watching the Empire and know how TIE fighters operate. This leads to their second advantage over the Grisk. For TIE defenders, a new ship which they won't have been able to get the stats for. Back of the First Legion, Kima manages to free the Chiss girls, and he starts trying to communicate with them, but isn't having any luck. Taking off his helmet, he shows them he's not a Grisk, and one of the girls points to a wall. Kima turns to it confused, but moments later a panel opens, and an attack begins. The Stormtroopers manage to deal with it, and Rook realizes that the girls can see the future. Kima asks the girls to continue to point out any more ongoing attacks as they move throughout the ship. Getting a green light that the girls are on the Dark Hawk and it's returning to Chimera, Vader is relaxed, realizing that Thrawn will never be a threat on his position with the Emperor, as he'll always have these split loyalties. Thrawn gives Vader permission to lead the TIE attack, and while he would have once seen that as an insult, he now realizes it means that Thrawn has a trust that he'll get the results needed. Switching the formation,
Oh.
Vader gets the shielded TIE defenders in the front, and as the Grisk weapons bounce off the shields, he can already taste victory. The assault goes well, but then Vader sees a ship in the distance not taking part in the battle. He leaves and approaches. When the ship notices him, it jumps to hyperspace. Heading back to the main battle, Vader has some notes for Thrawn. Seeing Vader return on the tracking, Thrawn thinks for a second, and then transmits a message in the trade language Mescalf on an open channel, naming himself as Mithron Yorodo, and telling the Grisk to leave and give up their goals of expansion. The Chimera then starts attacking the second ship, as the fighters take down the first. Watching Vader on the screen again, Thrawn sees a familiar maneuver, and knows. It is he.
He knows.
After Battles 1, the Chimera rendezvous with a chip warship, and Thrawn returns the children. After it hits hyperspace, Vader thinks about how its size could be a threat. Thrawn promises that Admiral Aralani of the Chiss Explanatory Defense Fleet will return the children to their families and make an effort to protect the worlds where they're taken from further assault. Vader then asks Thrawn for proof that the Grisk are a threat to the Empire, and the Chiss leads him to his office. Sitting down, they get to discussing. In the office, on the table, there's a Grisk power converter from the gravity well projector / cloaking device thing. And on the inside of it is a familiar metal, cortosis. Thrawn uses the fact that the Grisk knew the substance was strong against blasters and lightsabers to suggest the Grisk were looking into the known galaxy as long ago as the Clone Wars, as were the Chiss. Thrawn then asks how the Separatists found out about this material, and Vader, reading between the lines, assumed the Grisk gave it to them to try and gain a Separatist victory. Then Dooku surprised them. You see, we know the Grisk get power over people by taking things important to them. They got power over the Dashi by taking their ceremonial daggers. They tried to get power over the Chiss by taking their children. The thing that stopped them attacking during the Clone Wars was that Dooku started making clone armor along with the droids, which confused them. Because if Dooku's working for both sides, then what would be special to him? How would they control him? Thrawn then explains that he once said that it didn't seem like the Separatist tactic to try and infiltrate clone legions, and he suggests that this was also a Grisk tactic. But Vader, keeping quiet, now realizes this was one of Palpatine's long cons, and that he was behind that factory all along. Thrawn tries to talk Vader into attacking the Grisks, and Vader uses it as a sign of treason. Once again, Thrawn wanting to use Imperial resources to protect his own people.
Oh, give over, mate.
Thrawn argues against this by showing Vader the warning message he sent to the Grisk, which any of them managed to escape would send off. Vader listens to the recording and realizes that Thrawn used his Chiss name. Thrawn, sounding a bit sad, reminds Vader that they always attack the nearest enemy first. He says he's brought the Empire some time, but he's not sure how long. Vader then gets down to business about the ship he saw on the outskirts. A ship watching the battle but not getting into it. A ship of Chiss design, as he realizes, were the cloaking devices used by both the Grisk and Rook. Thrawn confirms this, saying that the cloaking devices don't work for his own people. And he says that when he left the Ascendancy, there was a strain on the government, and to his sadness, for all he knows, now the Chiss may be going through their own civil war. Thrawn suggests that the Grisk attack could even be a plot to try and keep him away from the conflict in the unknown region. And Vader asks what will stop him from taking the Chimera to go help his people. Thrawn replies that he once promised his loyalty to Anakin Skywalker, and now he's promised it to the Empire.
Bro.
And he won't return to his people until the enemies of the Empire are dead.
God damn.
Vader goes, speaking of dead,
Sorry. Speaking of dead,
You know Anakin Skywalker's dead, right? And Thrawn replies, I know. Not so I've heard. Not perhaps. Yep, that is fact.
oh,
But it then promises to give his blessing to the TIE Defender project to the Emperor. And that's Thrawn Alliances. Bam, ba-dum, da-dum, da-da-da-dum, bam,
what
bam,
damn!
ba-da-da-dum, bam.
They really punched you in the gut at the end there. I'm like, bro, they had like Eli, cover your ears, sweetie. They had like a budding romance arc there. I don't know. I felt something there, bro. They had a moment.
Can't ship from everyone.
I can ship them with everyone, and I will. God damn it! You watch me.
That's fair, you can. He's very shippable. He's a very shippable character.
he bro. Oh,
So, what did you think of Thrawn Alliances?
no, that was really great. I very much enjoyed Thrawn and his alliances. I thought it was very homoerotic. I enjoyed it. Um, there were a lot there were a lot of fun times, and yeah, I liked it. And I think I thinking about how it would have been if it was going back and forth. I think I agree that I prefer having the two pieces separate. I think it was nicer to
Yeah,
hear about the past and the future because of the way the way that things come back. It's nice to have a callback to a whole separate other thing rather than something that just happened 2 seconds ago.
yep. So, one of the reasons this episode took a while for us to get out is because I've been through this book a few times in the gap. And, like, just making notes for it is such a headache because it thinks it's being clever. The like, conversation about we recognize it as a uniform will happen in one chapter in the Clone Wars. Then the first line in the next bit of the Imperial bit will be like, but they know it's a uniform, and it thinks it's being so cute and so clever. Oh, you see, it mirrors. We're telling the same story twice. No, you're just confusing me. But like, when in both storylines, I like this. I like the story when you do it this way. When you're reading it, this is me ranting. I don't do my reviews anymore, so this is me my chance to rant. When you're reading it, and like in the past storyline, they go to a bar, then they leave a bar. Then in the future storyline, they go to a bar and they leave a bar. Then in the past storyline, they go back
Yeah.
to a bar. Then in the future storyline, they go back to a bar and they leave a bar. Then in the past storyline, they're still in a bar, they leave a bar. Like, when are they at a bar? When are they not at a bar? What the heck is happening?
It does kind of feel like you're reading the same things twice, I bet, right?
Yep. And it doesn't help,
Like
like,
everything's
the
just
Batu
happened twice.
stuff is the first 13 chapters, a 20 chapter book. Just unrelenting,
Yeah,
just Batu, 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 Batu.
all but two.
You need a Mokivja to break it up.
You do need it. You need the Mokova to break it up.
On my most recent lesson, I did go through chapter by chapter chronologically instead of so I listened to it because I use Audible the way I told it here, and I do think it
I love good
improves the
audiobook.
story so much.
I'd agree with you that I like this format for it because like I'm like a sucker for there being like you're watching a TV show and there's a series gap and then like something in the second half calls back to the first one and it like
Hmm.
punches you in the gut and you're just like fuck because it's had time to like sink in and you're really familiar with it like
Yep.
rather than like the next episode then being like do you remember when the knives were ceremonial.
It's also things like when you first listen to it, they get to Mokivja and it's this desolate wasteland. You're like, okay, why should I care? And like
Yeah,
by the time they go back to Mokivja, you don't realize it looks different
yeah, that is weird pacing wise.
because it's been a whole novel since they said it was a wasteland and now it's green. You're like, sure, why not?
It really would have benefited up from being split up. I'd agree with that, especially because like the humor that comes from Vader being really like fucking sketchy about like what happened there, and you knowing full well that it's his fault because he was
Yep,
stupid. Like you don't
yep.
get that on the first read through.
Mm-hmm. Which could be a benefit because it's one that you are rewarded for rereads, but at the same
That's true.
time, like I do wish it was just part one, part two. Do it that way. Bingo bango.
I always like. Don't get me wrong. I love to reconsume media as much as possible. I'm bad about it, but like there's nothing like the first time that you go through something, and I think anything that's going to make that experience better because it has more of an impact on you. You're going to want to reread it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, what were your favourite moments from this Imperial storyline? And don't you dare say the fighting sticks.
I wasn't going to start with the fighting sticks. Let's start in a different place. Okay, let's at least start in a different place. We the aforementioned bit where Vader's really fucking sketchy about the fact of what happened on Mustafir, and he's just like, I wouldn't know what happened there.
Makuvja?
The callback, Makuvja, yes. The callback to we need to dress like scum. That was fun. I liked that a lot. I liked the little bits where like I like the parts where Vader is basically like, what the fuck is up with this guy and his like the way that he runs things, because like he doesn't really like, he doesn't get that this like can work.
He runs through fear, whereas
Yeah.
we mentioned last time that Thrawn's is very much like a writer's room type situation.
Yeah. And I really like the fact that like he looked out onto
The bridge?
yes, the bridge, yes. He looked out onto like the bridge of the ship and he was just like, oh, everyone's like giving their opinions and stuff, and everyone's kind of like ideas bouncing off of each other. And he's just like, oh damn, this could actually be good for the Empire. I think that's kind of like a really like that's a really nice thing for Vader to think, considering who he is and how he acts towards people all the time.
Well, that was Keeman thinking that. Vader didn't think that.
Oh shit, sorry, I misremembered. Well, my boy still got he got a lot of soft moments in this actually. So I don't know. I just like it when Vader's nice sometimes. It doesn't happen often.
Yep.
So like, yeah. And I like the continued insistence on Thrawn's part. Like Vader is so sure that Thrawn is gonna fuck everyone over because he's so like caught up in this whole thing with the Empire and everyone else who's ever fucked him over in his entire life. And he's just like, this guy is definitely gonna fuck me over. And like, I can guarantee you that Thrawn's known the entire time that he's Anakin and he's stuck around for that reason. So, you know, the whole callback at the end where he's just like, you know, I pledge my loyalty to Anakin and I'm gonna see that through, even though he's dead, quote unquote. It's really sweet actually. It's kind of nice. The highlights really are these guys, kind of they're really
These
opposite.
dudes being dudes.
What could be better than this? Eli would have died if he was here during this entire adventure. He would have been like, oh, fuck it up. But
Vader would have killed him instantly.
Vader would have killed him instantly, actually, perhaps. He's a mouthy little twink and he needs to be silenced. So perhaps that would have happened.
Jesus Christ, tell me what you really think.
I mean that positively, I mean that lovingly towards Eli.
Vader would be like, this aid seems a bit gay. Vroom.
It seems a bit gay. Homophobia mode activates. That's it. But what's my last point? Oh yeah, I like the way that their personalities bounce off of each other. Like homoeroticism jokes aside, even though it was that, the way that like, because I don't know, this is the easiest way to boil it down is I'm just like, Thrawn is an optimist and Vader is a pessimist. And you just shove them together in a room and it's kind of fun, you know? We love to see it. I really enjoyed it. It gave Thrawn also like a little bit of a less like sterile sort of side too, which is quite nice.
A couple of things. First of all, I like how between this and our comics, we're definitely going through the disappointed dad era for Vader and Palp.
Yeah, we are.
Like,
all of this is just sad father-son content.
Like in the intro, it's like, yeah, you've seen Rebels, you know that Thrawn has let multiple Jedi / Rebel war heroes escape. Makes sense that Palpatine's angry with him, and why is he angry with Vader? Just vague reasons of Vader like remembering the Jedi or something.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's been thinking about the Jedi again, therefore he
He
needs to
has
be
memories.
punished.
Let's
He has memories. I'm like, not being funny, dude. If you really wanted him without memories, you
original
could
sin.
probably do that. The original sin. Oh my god, like, this is all a Christian allegory, and Vader's actually like Eve, and he committed the original sin. Whoa,
Whoa.
whoa, mind
Well,
blown. Make a YouTube video about it.
the second thing is our why does Boba Fett want to be a crime boss? Uh, how do you rate Thrawn's art reading in this?
He didn't. Honestly, I don't feel like he did a lot of it. I feel like he did a lot less of it than he did in the previous entry that we read. He had a lot to say about those knives. I've not forgotten about the knives.
Mhm.
The knives definitely were ceremonial, and he read that. I'm trying to remember. There was another instance where he did it. I can't quite remember what it is. It's like gone from me.
He does the grass from the original planet. But that's not really
Oh,
art.
he does the
That's just
grass. That's not art, but like that's funny. That's just like that's peak Thrawn, right there. He's just like, yeah, I'm looking at the way that the grass is lying, and I can tell the ship's been here. It's like, okay, well done, Thrawn. Studied the grass intensely. He's taken go touch grass to a whole new level.
also my nitpick. Um,
Yeah,
Thrawn's whole strategy at the end is based on the risk seeing the closest enemy as a threat.
yeah.
But when they're fighting the First Legion, they shoot one of Keeman's men when he's behind Keeman. So
Ah,
guess they weren't targeting the first enemy there, were they?
that's a very good point. That is a very good point. I guess they weren't. Thrawn is wrong about something? I think they're just really short-sighted, you know?
How dare they have agency in their story when Thrawn has told me this golden rule, which I will now use against all risks I meet.
Oh no. Oh god. Thrawn's done a racial profiling. Oh fuck.
Yeah, Thrawn actually uses racial stereotypes against his enemies, and it works.
That's literally what he does. That's fully what he does. It's just like, ah yes, I'm going to extrapolate everything that I can generally about an entire race species of creatures and then use it against them. And we're just like, go off, Thrawn. Do you have any more thoughts? Oh yeah, the guys who want the grist, the guys with the knives, the ceremonial knives, they had combat
The
sticks.
Dashi.
They were clearly, yeah, the dashi. They came there with
Hiya.
combat sticks. They had combat sticks. They were clearly willing to use them. They had bugs that could turn people into stone. Like, why would they have these things if they weren't like capable of violence? Clearly, Thrawn was wrong, and they are predisposed to violence in some way. I call bullshit. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, and because I'm doing my reviews, just give some more thoughts on this book from my end quickly. Out of all the Thrawn books in canon, it's probably my least favourite. And yeah, I think it's interesting. I'm not sure I'd go as far as saying it's good.
That's
Like
fair. That's fair.
just because of how it's written and how much of a struggle I find it to keep track of things.
You know what? I definitely got the best version of it possible. I reckon in terms of readability, I'm willing to trust you on that. That it's a whole thing. It probably would annoy me because I don't really like to read books
Mhm.
that do this too much.
Also, in the fights, like it gets a bit boring every time there's a fight. Just hearing Anakin go, double vision, one blast coming to my head, one blast to my right shoulder. I lift my lightsaber to dodge both. Double vision.
Wait,
A
he
shot
does the
coming from the
Robert Downey
right.
Jr. Sherlock Holmes thing. He does
Yeah,
the discombobulate.
that's how the seeing into the future during fights thing is done. It's him constantly going
Oh
double
no.
vision, like it's some kind of video game
Double
ability.
vision.
Double vision.
He's just saying it like a Pokemon says its name. Just double vision. Well, dang.
April just sent me a
Well,
message asking if I've got Olivia Rodrigo tickets. Oh, you're on the wait list for Olivia Rodrigo's Guts World Tour.
uh,
Darn
oh
it,
yeah,
I
because
am
that's
not.
because buying tickets is hell these days. It's actually kind of the worst thing ever. I can't stand how this is a tangent. I can't stand how the ticket buying process is these days. It's like fucking ridiculous. Like even just taking the stupid costs out of it, even money aside, the actual process is so fucking stress inducing and so unfair. It's
Mhm.
like actually ridiculous. I hate it.
Try buying Star Wars Celebration tickets when in a foreign country, when like very last minute organizing it with someone who's at work at the time.
Yeah, you're kind of a real one for that, thanks.
Just really being like, okay, I'm in the hotel room, I have Wi-Fi now, all the Saturdays have sold out. No wait, a Saturday's back. We can go Saturday. No wait, Saturday's gone again. What if we go for? Oh no wait, there's a Saturday again.
I work I work in an office where I can't have my phone by my side. I have to like put my phone in a locker in a separate room. So Sam was like going crazy. I had so many messages.
I was by the pool in a hotel in Croatia where I had very limited Wi-Fi. I suddenly went on like the Star Wars Discord and saw there'd been that the link had opened, the queue had opened like 50 minutes ago. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I was like, I have to do it. I just ran up to the room and was like just there for the next hour trying to sort things.
And we have no regrets. Alas, that no regrets are to be had.
Yep, and I'm still planning Japan 2025.
Woo!
For
Whereabouts
me,
in Japan is it? I've forgotten.
Tokyo.
Oh, it's actual Tokyo. That sounds so
Yeah.
fun. I would really like to go to Japan and like do like a couple days in Tokyo and then like be like, oh god, because like oh big city, oh it's tiring, and
Mhm.
then like get on because they have such good trains and then like get on a train and like go somewhere else a bit quieter for a
That's
bit.
my
I
plan.
think that would be so fun. Yeah, that would be so fun.
Before we go, I have a question for you.
Oh,
You may remember that next episode we'll be following Vader to the Jedi Temple on Vargos Voss.
it's the Dark Temple.
But my question for you, Emily, is where is the first Jedi Temple thought to be located?
Ooh,
So that's where is
ooh,
the
I'm
first Jedi Temple thought to be located?
I might know this. We will have to see. We'll see
Hmm.
next time. Oh,
So, so I've been Sam praying for Olivia Rodrigo tickets,
and I've been Emily, who is praying for Sam's Olivia Rodrigo tickets.
and we'll see you next time, guys. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Goodbye, friends. Bye. And then they got changed, and then we went back to Padme.
After a few days on my boat, Lebjar
That's really
explained to the
fucking
inside of a
funny.
factory. I don't know why I did my notes this way, Emily, but I did. So I'm having faith in the system.
I love it. I also have faith in the system because that was really funny.
I'm having
Oh
faith in the
god,
system.
we are. We
After a
have
few
we have
days on my boat,
full and total faith.
Lebjow, Lebjow. A few days on my boat. A few days on my fucking boat, Emily. That's a few.
Hey, don't blame me. You're the one who wrote the script.
I was speaking to a friend of a podcast table about this the other day. She was like, "Wait, why do you write scripts?" I was like, "No, I write notes so I can remember what happened." She's like, "Oh, okay. So you don't write jokes or anything."
Wait, other podcasts just write their jokes. They don't just say whatever random crap comes into their brains.
I write your jokes. I don't write mine.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for doing that. Can you do a little bit
Hmm.
better though?
No, I need you to make my on the fly stuff look funny.
Okay. Oh, okay. You're deliberately writing me as just a little bit less funny than you. That's how it
This is
is.
all being cut anyway.